Ladies and gentlemen, it is showtime. Please enjoy the show.
It's the corner where the Chiefs at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you made it here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
We are excited to announce this season, Chief Concerns is teaming up with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, to bring even more excitement to Chiefs football. Whether you're backing Mahomes to have over 4,500 passing yards, riding the over on Kelce's 4.5 touchdowns, or picking weekly same-game parlays, FanDuel has you covered with easy-to-use features, fast payouts, and tons of ways to win. So download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today and make every snap count. And don't forget to tune into our weekly Chiefs same-game parlay show every week during the regular season. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns. I'm Marcus Dash. Our guy, former Chiefs tight end Jason Dunn, will be joining us shortly. He should be on in the next couple minutes, so we'll have JD on to break down the Chiefs, as of right now, the initial 53-man roster, as well as the practice squad guys. And yeah, it doesn't come without a little bit of drama and some storylines, but yeah, there's a lot of things to talk about from this list, and obviously, just in general, big news day. I see, Sasha there. Yeah, big news day. Rashee Rice suspension in the books. We know what that is now. It's not going to be looming over us. Some guys who were gone from the team. Yeah, and I hope I hope Mike Pennel specifically will be back, and we're going to get into him tonight. But man, yeah, Brett Veach, did some interesting things yesterday. I was surprised by some of them. One of the things a couple hours before they announced the 53-man roster, I got a text or a DM from a reliable source regarding Jake Briningstool, that Jake Briningstool made the 53-man roster, and I'm like, huh? And the source I got it from was like, okay, I mean, that this guy knows what he's talking about. This person knows what he's talking about. So I was like, okay, well, I don't usually tweet stuff and report stuff as an insider does. I don't consider myself an insider whatsoever. Hold on a second. I see a little lamp here. Let's get that out of the way. Yeah. Okay, there you go. I don't consider myself an insider whatsoever, but I see that news. I'm like, all right, well, let's go with it, because that is legit. And then we find out 2 hours later that he made the team. And I was like, wow, so what's going to happen with Tonyan? And then Tonyan, we find out today he's back in the practice field, and Rashee Rice wasn't there, so he's probably going to he'll probably replace Rice on the roster. I know he's a PS guy right now, but he'll probably go to the roster once Rashee Rice is officially suspended. So I don't know. Very a lot of different things. CEH is back, another guy coming back to the team. So yeah, just so many things to get into tonight. So I am 8 receivers. I mean, they obviously knew about Rashee Rice's suspension. So that's why they kept 8. And then also, Royals. He might not play week 1. And may potentially IR. I mean, we don't even know what's going to happen with that. We know Hollywood's got injury concerns. So just a lot of things. And we're going to get into a lot of stuff tonight. Also, want to also say, before I start talking to everybody on here, I apologize for everybody who came in at 8:15 a.m. this morning when I scheduled the show. I by accident put 8:15 a.m. instead of p.m. So my apologies for that. If anybody came on earlier, my bad. That was my fault. I put a.m. instead of p.m. But we figured it out. It's 8:15 p.m. now. And yeah, so I mentioned it last week, or Monday, I hinted at who our guest was going to be for next week's preview show. And next week's going to be a jam-packed show. We have our week 1 preview. We have JD's Keys to Victory. And we have Tej and I doing our betting show because, we play on Friday this week 1. Usually our betting show and Keys to Victory is on Friday before the Sunday game. But it's going to be all in that Wednesday show. So hop in. But our guest, I hinted at it, but our guest has been confirmed that next Wednesday night, to help us preview the week 1 Chiefs Chargers in Brazil, we will have none other than the stud himself, the former linebacker for the Chiefs, 2 stints with the Chiefs, and former Chargers linebacker, Donnie Edwards. The man from UCLA will be coming on our show and to help us preview week 1 against the Chargers. So, guy who played for 2 teams, a guy who's also an all-pro, Second team All-Pro, Pro Bowler, and he was a stud on both teams. And he's a stud in general, right? Tasia and I always had a nickname for him growing up as the AC Slater of the NFL. But yeah, total stud. And Donnie Edwards going to be coming on the show to help us preview. So that'll be really cool. So definitely, guys, come on in next Wednesday for the preview show with JD and Donnie Edwards. So it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. So let's see who is in the chat tonight. My guy, Will. What's going on, buddy? Yeah, okay. He saw the, he knew that. 8:15, you probably, you could deduce it was going to be PM, not AM. Although 7 a.m. stream would be lit no matter what. I mean, you know what? Maybe we'll do that at some point. I think we did that like a couple of years ago. I forgot which one. It was one day where a game ended late as heck, and we did our post-game show the morning after. That was interesting. Gary Holland, what's going on, buddy? What is going on, my dude? Jeremiah de los Muertos, what's up, bud? Yeah, Adria, what's going on? Yeah, everyone's in here now. We got about 75 people in tonight. Okay, so that'll only grow as the show goes on. Of course, when JD comes on here, that's when you guys flock in. Yeah, I get it. I understand. Tonyan at practice today. Good sign. Yeah, Tonyan is going to be the guy. I mean, based on what I'm seeing, he's going to be the guy who takes over the 53-man spot once Rice goes to the NFI. So that is something. Jason Tarbox, my guy. Linda Hunter, what is going on? Chiefs concerns, fam. Let's go. First show since 53-man roster net. Yeah, yes, sir. I know. Don't have to remind me, man. Mike Pennel. Yeah. I have some stuff on that too, which I was notified by a reliable source, just talking about some stuff with that. It's tough. The whole Mike Pennel thing. The defensive tackle thing makes no sense. No sense at all. Kyle Henning, my guy Kyle. I'm gonna need talked off a ledge here tonight, fellas, because they made two decisions I simply cannot wrap my head around. Yeah, I mean, I think I've kind of addressed one of them, but yeah, I'm with you. And the phone line will be open. We'll be sending the link out tonight, so you guys definitely get in on the chat at the end of the episode. So we'll put in a link in the chat. You guys hop in, and you can talk to myself and JD. It's been a nice little addition to the show having you guys come on here at the end. Like old school radio shows, people just calling in. I do love that. And I love seeing your guys' faces as well. So, Kyle, definitely jump on in later, buddy. Sparkle Sports Cards, what's going on? I really thought they would keep 8 wide receivers this season. Yeah, I mean, hey, there was a lot of talent in that room, and you have a lot of injury concerns-ish. So, yeah. What's going on, Faye? How are you doing? Yeah, we doing the link out? Yep, we'll have that, buddy. Greg Rose, my guy. What's up, Greg? Hope you were doing well, my man. About time. CH coming back. Didn't have that on my bingo card. I mean, like, you not have that on your bingo card is one thing, but man, like, this team loves bringing back their own dudes. So that's one thing, I'm not that shocked by it, especially when I heard that report that we were looking into veteran running backs. And then I was like, okay, we'll see about that. I know everyone jumped for Breece Hall and like these big name guys. It's like, And then CEH coming back. That's more our jam. And honestly, I kind of like that for Rashard Smith. We want a guy who's going to be more of a receiving type back than Rashard Smith is, as far as being in the backfield. CH is a good guy to learn from, for sure. I mean, because that was his jam coming out of college. We didn't really utilize him in that respect, but he can definitely be an asset for Rashard Smith being in the offense as long as he has been. So that's one thing. Who else? Tony Black Shinnery. Aloha, y'all. What's going on, buddy? What's going on, my dude? Sasha, big news day. Yeah, big news day. Lou 82, hey fellas, let's go. I don't think McDonald's getting enough love. He young Leo. I don't know if you haven't watched the show, Lou 82. JD's been raving about Cooper McDonald. All our post-game shows, he's been raving about him. He talked about him the other day on his projected 53. He was on the projected 53, so that's something there. So yeah. Faye Smith, love your hair, Marcus. Appreciate you, Faye. That really means a lot. It got too out of control. And plus, my flag football is over, so I let it grow for playoffs. We won the championship. Season's about to start, so the haircut, chop it up, start fresh, and here we go. Now I won't cut this till after February. We'll see. Probably a pre-Thanksgiving or pre-Christmas cut. It's coming my way soon, but yeah. Hippie Cypriot, hey guys and gals, what's up, Hippie? Crystal Lee, good evening. CH, ooh, yeah, I know. CH is like it's kind of a divisive topic. You got some people who are big fans, some people who, aren't, but nonetheless. Mark's got that Travis look with it. Say, ooh, Travis look. Okay, I'll take that. I'll tell my girlfriend about that one. That's good. Okay, and our guy, JD, is joining us now. So enough from me. Our guy, JD, is joining us. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, man? What's going down? So this somebody you got the haircut like Travis Kelce haircut?
I guess I got a Kelce cut.
Is that what it is? Oh my gosh! You know, everybody call the fade the Travis Kelce, and I was like, "What? It's a fade. Like fades have been around forever."
Forever.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny though. When I do go to the barber shop, I usually my woman knows my haircut by now. But when I first got it, I was just showing her the JJ Redick haircut. I was like, I want a little bit of this. I was like, but leave a little bit more on the top. And then so give her a personal look at while you're doing my hair. So I call the JJ Redick haircut, but I'll take Travis Kelce too.
Right. Yeah, the JJ Redick. You know, you don't have like, you know, in the black barber shops, you got the numbers like number 1 to like 15 or 20, and you can point it out the way that you want it. So that's all good, man. It's all good. So that, you know, over there, where you go, is it like a chain, or is it somebody who was, you know, they got like the specialized ones now?
No, it's just a one-off spot that's always been like, we have a shopping center called the Pan Am Shopping Center. And it's this one, you know, it's just this spot that's been there, a hole in the wall place. It's been there since I was like a little kid. All my brothers went there to get their haircuts when I was like a toddler. When I was going to like the cartoon cuts places where they'd have like cartoons on, they would be going to that place. And as I got older, I ended up going to that place as well. So yeah, it's been around forever, but yeah, it's a nice spot. Nice spot. They take care of me.
All right. Okay, yeah, it looks good. Whatever it is, looks good. So, you know.
Appreciate that, man.
You know, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of you. I'm going to say, hey, I want the Marcus Dash. How about that?
The Marcus Dash with the Kelce cut.
Yeah. So, man, what's going down, man? It's going to be a good evening tonight. I could just feel it. Hope everybody is doing wonderful. What's going on, you all? Let me say hi to everybody that's in the chat. I'm coming through. Obviously, I'm just getting off the road. You know, I told Marcus, man, we got to go ahead and get this started. Put a little video out. I want the Chief Concerns family to come out. You know, and obviously I put out, you know, hashtag Chiefs Kingdom. So hopefully some people are going to come on. When we open up the airwaves for people to come, hey, come in and say what's up to us. Talk about it. Give me your opinions on whatever. And then, you know, how you feel about the roster and what we have to say about this. I do feel like people have a lot of different opinions about what this thing looks like. But so far, Marcus, I think it really looked good. But let me say what's up to everybody that's here, right? So Faye Smith, Tony Black, Shinery, Gary Holland, Sparkle Sports Car. Good day. What's going on, Sparkle Sports Car from all the way Australia? Andre Chanel, Mike Brennan, Greg Rose, Kevin, Hippie Cypriot, About Time. What up, About Time? 2-1 out the fade. Melly Matrix. Jason Tarbox is here. What's going down? Jeremiah de Muertos. What's up, my brother? John Clifford. What's up, John Clifford? Let me see. Greg Rose. Chiefs from Southern California. What's up, my man? Deshaun Hammonds. My people, my brother. Good to see you. As always, Will is here in the house. Like always, Tommy Sparks, Rich Cooper. Let me see. Who else we got? I'm the Brown is here already. I'm the Brown. We're going to open it up. I'm the Brown. I know you got something to say for us. You always got something good to say. Let me see who else here. Kyle Henning. Kyle is in here. What's going on, my brother? Good to see you, Kyle. I hope you come in and say what's up to us, Kyle, and talk about a few things and put your stuff out there as well. Hannah, good to see you, Hannah. Gary Holland. Let me see who else we got on here. Linda Hunter's here. Crystal Lee. Sasha's here. So this is going to be a fun time, man. Hey, usual suspects. Our family right here is here. So good to see you. If it's your first time here on Chief Concerns, welcome. Good to see you. So this is Jason Dunn. I'm Jason Dunn. This is Marcus Dash. Hey, we're going to have a ball tonight. So
it's a busy news day in Chiefs Kingdom, that's for sure. JD, before you got on here, I let the audience know that next Wednesday for our preview show, it's going to be a big one. It's going to have, you know, our normal Wednesday preview up until the game we're about to play. But since we have play on Friday this week, that means the keys to victory and the betting show will all be in one action-packed long episode. And with our guest to help us kick off that show, we're going to have former Chiefs and former Chargers linebacker and JD's former teammate, Donnie Edwards, coming on here to help us break down that Week 1 game against the Chargers.
Donnie Edwards and good friend Donnie Edwards, Jason Dunn. That's my brother right there, man. Donnie, I'm going to enjoy this episode immensely with Donnie. You know, Donnie's going to bring all the knowledge and whatnot. It's going to be a good time just to talk about, you know, our time with the Chiefs and the Kingdom, but also too, you know, he'll give his spiel on the Chargers, how his time was down there with Marty and whatnot. But this is, I would say, the first week guest. This is probably one of the best, probably the perfect one on that. Marcus, well done. So, hey, look, Donnie's a busy man. He's flying all over the world. You might catch Donnie out there in the rainforest or something, and you was able to get him. So that's good. It's good. Be great to see my brother.
Yeah, it'll be a fun episode. So, yeah, come on here. Obviously, I hope you guys are here anyways, but Donnie Everett's going to be here, so double the reason to come on the show on Wednesday next week to preview week 1 of the season. So, obviously, we're going to get to the roster stuff, and I've seen people in here already talking about, our guy Mike Pennel, the tight end situation, the receivers, the amount of guys we kept. We'll get into all of that, but first we got to talk about the big topic is Rashee Rice. So we didn't know it was going to be a midseason suspension. It was going to be lingering over our heads for the first 8 games of the season. Well, we don't have to think about that anymore. It's official. Rashee Rice will serve a 6-game suspension for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. He'll miss games against the Chargers, the Eagles, the Giants, Ravens, Jaguars, and Lions, and he'll return October 19th against the Raiders. Yeah. So, JD, now that, last week we were talking about, it could be in the middle of the season suspension, and I know we prefer that we get to start the season out with him, but now that we know that this is going to start the season out, we're going to know who our receivers are right out the gate. There's no, questioning it. How do you feel now that we know what the suspension is?
I feel great. I know he feels better than any of us do. He knows where he stands with everything, and I think it's really what really that's all you can ask for, Marcus. Truly, being caught in limbo like this and didn't know what your fate was going to be, how many games it was, was going to be decided, and when it was going to be. That is excruciating. But look, hey, that it is what it is, right? I think this is a great job of them doing the 6 games. I think Rashee Rice has no problem reconciling with that and saying, hey, look, it's the 6 games. That's what y'all feel I deserve. I'm fine with that. And I think he's been more than apologetic in this whole situation. And I think this is something that everybody can move forward to kind of put behind him. So if this, obviously the people that was involved to get restitution in a lot of different ways, hopefully this brings them a little bit of comfort and solace, just not for those that was being involved, but obviously Rashee Rice and the team that now can start formulating and scheme-wise around everything that's going on, right? And so that's not to downplay any of the things that happen. We understand exactly the gravity of the situation. But, I think Rashee Rice is kind of finally glad that it's over. And I'm happy for him too. So that's my take on it. With that being said, Rashee Rice, he could just kind of sit back and just wait. This is going to be, look, and Marcus, we know this first few games is a hard road. It's a hard road. But guess what? We got enough guys in there that can get the thing done. We got a lot of talent around us. And so that's the great thing. The great thing is as we will be, his impact is going to be missed, but we got guys in here that can ball. We know that. Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, Juju Smith-Schuster, Jalen Royals. We talked about Brownlee is here, Tyquan Thornton, Nico Remigio. Who did I miss? Did I miss anybody else? We got about 10 wide receivers, don't we, on the lot?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. But the good thing is we know 15 is back there, and he's going to find not just the wide receivers, but we got tight ends galore. We got running backs galore. And so for us, we're in a good position. We missed Rashee Rice last year, and we was able to get wins then. So I think we'll be fine. Obviously, Rashee Rice wants to play, but hey, you gotta pay the piper. That's the way it goes. So,
yeah, and the one thing I've seen, because we talked about this like last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, would it be mid-season, right? He'll get suspended September 30th. And I've seen, two schools of thought. We were, the mindset saying, it'd be great to have him right out the gate. And then now I've seen the other school of thought. It's like, okay, well, actually, it's better to get out of the way because when he comes back, that's it. When he comes back, that's it. There's no stoppage in the middle of the season. That's it. He'll play through and he'll be able to get his bearings with Pat mid-season form. So by the time, he'll be able to go into the playoffs, not coming off a 5-week hiatus or 6-week hiatus. He'll be coming off being able to just kind of jump right in to everything. So in that respect, I do like it. Obviously, I'd love to have him against the Philadelphia Eagles. I'd love to have him against the Baltimore Ravens. But again, the fact that it's not lingering anymore, we don't have to wait till September 30 to see the outcome. That's a huge thing, because for everybody, if you have something looming over your head, you're not really going to enjoy yourself in anything, right? You're always going to be thinking about, oh, what's going to happen, what's going to happen, what's going to happen. And now it's like, okay, we know what it is. That's it. So I'm happy that's just done with at this point.
Yeah, and so I think, like you said, it is what it is. And like somebody said, we're going to be all right. We're going to be fine, without Rashee Rice. So somebody's going to be able to carry the torch for his absence. And, we're going to go ahead and go out business as usual. And so when he comes back, he's just going to add on to what we've been doing. So we're going to be putting up numbers, man. We're going to be toasting a lot of defenses. And so they go like, oh, they ain't got Rashee Rice. Well, shoot, we got a whole bevy of guys right there behind him waiting to get in line to do you up too. So it doesn't matter. We're going to look. And I'll tell you what, we're going to take shots. We're going to go downfield. We got some big body receivers. We got some very fast receivers. We got some guys with some great hands and great routes. And then, like I said, man, I didn't even touch on the tight end group and the running backs. So I think for us, this offense is going to look, like I said before, like a straight Olympic track meet. That's what it's going to be. So get your popcorn ready. I done told the secondary to everybody's out there, man, you better get your hamstrings and your thighs, get all them jokers, get them loosened up, okay? Get your hips greased down, because they are coming straight out the gate and they're going to run right by you. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. He'll be all right.
Does that concern you at all? I'm seeing Kevin in the comments said he will not be in football shape. And then Rich Cooper says he can't be at the facility during suspension, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that comes with the territory, being away from kind of the activities of everything. Does that concern you at all, not being in football shape?
He'll catch up. I think he got a lot of it. The thing is, during training camp, that's what you do. You throw him in and let him get as much as possible. So him not missing any part of this training camp was good for him. And he's just going to have to catch up. It'll take him a couple of weeks to get back in shape. He'll be fine. I'm not saying he comes right back out against the Raiders and you just let him just start balling out. You're working back in slowly. He still got to get his win. He still got to get the timing down. And that will come. That will come. So we got plenty of time for that to happen. But like Kevin said, he's right. He's not going to be in full football shape. The only way you're going to do that is if you play football. But it ain't going to take him long to get to where he needs to get to. He's a young guy, so shoot, he already knows what it takes.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It'd be one thing if like his whole injury stuff. Remember, like there's a certain point where everyone's like, oh, he might not be ready by the time the season starts. Well, because of that, he was ready. We were able to kind of thrust him into preseason and be able to have them during that. So like, it's one that's the beauty of him being able to play in preseason. Like it's not going to be his first time. It's not going to be his first action when he comes back October 19th. He played in these preseason games, so it won't be that like new to him. So
no, shoot, man, he's good, man. He's good. Rashee Rice, man, he could come off the couch and hit him for about $140. He can. Like Tony Black Shinery said, they better get some WD-40 from them hips, JD. They better. I'm telling you, hey, we need to go ahead and start mailing something out right now. If they ain't getting it together, Tony, it's gonna be problems. It is gonna be problems, man. They're gonna know. They're gonna find out real soon because they're gonna catch one of the Travis Kelce's, Marcus, when these fades is what's gonna happen.
Hey, there you go. I like that.
Yes,
and look at the 6 games. I know you had the Ravens was one of the losses that you had for us. But Chargers, Eagles, Giants, Ravens, Jaguars, Lions. What do you think our record comes in the 6 games without Rashee Rice? Do you still have it as the same 5-1?
Same. I see it same. Yeah. As talented Rashee Rice is, and he gives us so much, the good thing is other guys fill in to where we won't have him. We can do other things with that, Marcus. We really can. We have the most talented offensive geniuses with Andy Reid and Matt Nagy and that whole staff putting things together to work for Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is more focused on the things he needs to do. Travis Kelce just got engaged and he's ready, to get wedded to Taylor Swift. Look, everything is happening. Guys sign contracts. Everybody's happy. We told everybody we are here to get our lick back. That's what's going to happen. All right. This is the revenge tour, if you want to call it that. But these guys are focused on getting everything right. So we understand one guy doesn't stop the show. And that's the beauty about having weapons, Marcus. It really is. So we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right.
Yeah, no, I agree. XL Raider. We got a Raider fan contributing. All right. Appreciate you, XL Raider. Appreciate you, buddy.
XL Raider? Yeah.
So, JD, who's your most hated team outside of the division? For me, it's the corporate Cowboys. Also, as a Raiders fan, how focused will the Chiefs be on Genty?
Oh, who's your most hated team outside the division? That's a good question.
For me to be the Bengals, that's just based off the rivalry we've had with them the last few, or the rivalry over the last few years, and the way Chase talks about Mahomes, not even saying his name, just stuff like that really rubs me off the wrong way, and their fan base on Twitter is obnoxious. So I would say the Bengals for me would be mine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hated that's such a strong word.
Most disliked team. Nah, hate.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have one. It may have to be. I tell you, I was going to say maybe Pittsburgh now because they are 15s on it. No, I'm just messing with you. No, I don't really have one. I just I don't really have teams that I sit there and I despise. I'm like, oh man, I don't want these guys to be successful. So
right. Was there a fan base when you played that was like you couldn't stand being there? Like they would say stuff to you that was like really off-putting and stuff. I mean, outside division, we all know how the black hole was with the Raiders.
The Raiders, those fans are something else. All right, that is the ones that you just want to say, I got an uppercut for all of y'all. I tell you, yeah, how about that? I didn't really have anybody as far as like I could think of playing anywhere that was real nasty. Like, so, oh man, I don't know. New Orleans might be another one. Just I don't know. Something about it. So no, I don't really have one. I don't really have one. But also the second question, Raiders fan, how focused would the Chiefs be on Genty? Hey man, we're gonna come in with our regular, scheme. We just got to stop the run, and this is why like this whole Mike Pennel is baffling. Not signing him back, especially when that might have been our Achilles heel that we've seen this preseason. But Genty is a guy that still needs to grow. Excel Raider, I just want to say that he's still a young guy, so he might start getting into his form, coming to ours. But teams are going to be keying on him. He ain't been hit like he's going to get hit in the NFL. Just reality. So. He might be over near you, Excel Raider, before you know it on the sideline. I wish anything on him and nothing like that, man. I like Genty. I think he's a very talented guy. I think it's going to take him a little time to figure it out, though. Yeah.
The one thing that stood out to me during preseason is that he's initiating contact a little bit too much, and this ain't Mountain West anymore. You're not going against Utah State every week or Utah Tech. You're going against real deal guys. So like. And we've seen Pacheco. Pacheco's been one of those guys, who loves initiating contact, but we've seen the wear and tear that it takes on him, the toll it takes on him, having to get surgeries in the offseason, or just hurting himself overall, the labrum, the wrist, ankle, all these types of things, and that can mount up. So for me, it's like that running style, I think he needs to change. I saw some of the stuff he was doing in preseason, like going after initiating stuff with some of these guys on the 49ers. I'm like, ooh, all right, man, relax a little bit.
Hey man, look, nobody he's taking to going to get is got a biochemistry class. Nobody. Okay. These guys right here that he's going to be going against, man, is making a whole lot of money to try to rip his neck off, try to rip his throat out. That's what it is. And so he's going to know real soon what it means to be in the NFL. Not only that, but also too getting pummeled by the Chiefs. Got a couple of guys, man, coming through that secondary, man. We know come down like a heat-seeking missile. Hicks, Cook, Bolton, all those guys, Chanel. Those guys are going to be coming after him, okay? So he's going to have to earn his stripes. He's going to have to get it. I'll be watching the kid, man. I think he's very talented, like I said. So we'll see how fast his transition is going to be. Like I said, Marcus, nobody's taking international finance, okay? It's that guy, he's not thinking about a career. It's something else besides football. These guys are putting food on their table, and Genty is the guy they they got to stop to eat. So,
yeah, you're not near Utah Tech anymore. Those days are long gone.
Yeah,
is Utah Tech a school? I don't even know if that is. It just felt right.
we used to call it Sister Mary of the Poor. We used to call it, So yeah, man. Good stuff, though. Good stuff.
Appreciate you, Raiders fan.
Appreciate it. You ain't giving. But look, you're a Raiders fan. We still gonna give you the ring. Okay. I don't know if you know it's not. We'll give you a ring when you throw a little. There you go, man. Appreciate your contribution, brother.
Appreciate XL Raider.
Yeah, we're still gonna ring it up for y'all. Okay.
All right. So now we're gonna go to the roster cut down stuff. And I know we talked about Rashee Rice, and you mentioned some of the guys who are gonna be taking his place while he is absent. Mm-hmm. But the big news, the Chiefs are keeping 8 wide receivers, and that was kind of a big shock. I mean, I think everyone thought that 7 was the max. I think 8's the most Andy Reid has kept in his career as far as active roster. But you look at Rashee Rice's suspension. You look and see Andy Reid today or yesterday signaled that Jalen Royals' knee tendinitis injury might be a little bit more long-term than initially thought. And then today on the Kansas City radio, I believe Carrington Harrison said they're considering IR for him because he might miss at least already that he knows that he might miss week 1 of the season. So we'll see about that. And then, Hollywood Brown's injury history. He's just coming off an injury. He's back at practice, but he's just coming off an injury, and we know his history. Yeah. Oh, knock on wood. But with all that said, I mean, all these things is the Rashee Rice, Jalen Royals, Hollywood Brown's history. Does it make sense now that seeing it, we're keeping 8 wide receivers? Does it all make sense to you? And also, let's give a shout out to the newest number 89, Jason Brownlee, for making the squad. My man, Southern Mississippi.
What's up, Southern Miss? Jason Brownlee wearing 8-9, man. I sent him a little message on Twitter. I'm sure everybody's seen it. If you didn't, go check it out. He's gracious to call back, man. Just say, hey, man, look, I appreciate it. I know he's going to definitely represent it proudly. I know that he's going to justify it. We've seen this in preseason. He was just making plays, Marcus, and we needed a guy like that. I told him, I said, man, big body guy like you. We're throwing back shoulder fades to you. We're throwing the ball to you in the end zone. So they love him. They love his size. They love his, his length. And to be honest with you, that's what we've been looking for. We've been looking for the past few years. We thought there was going to be some guys who's going to be able to do it out of the wide receiver room. It's going to be him. So he's one of the guys, all right? Tyquan Thornton is another guy that we have. Juju Smith-Schuster. So we just started naming guys because you was talking about, Jalen Royals might not be there, misses the first game. Does 8 wide receivers make sense? It does. Absolutely. And the thing is, all these guys can play. They're all going to be able to contribute. Nico Remigio, another guy, return dude, could catch the ball, run every route that you give him, catches everything thrown to him. We got some guys with some grit, some real grit too, Marcus. Pat's going to be fine back here throwing the ball to him. I like it a lot. So Jason Brownlee, man, welcome, sir. But, kind of talking about your point right there, 8 wide receivers does make sense, okay? And they knew pretty much kind of what they were dealing with. So it didn't really surprise me at all. So,
well, you made your list. I remember you said like Brownlee, because we talked about. I mean, Brownlee played his ass off during the preseason, and we saw that last preseason game was Brownlee and Remigio were like, whoa, these guys are really going toe to toe to try to get this to make the team. And when you made your 7 list the other day, you had 7 on it. You said Brownlee will be on the practice squad. So it was like you already wrote him down like he's going to be, if he makes it past the waivers, he'll be on the squad. So yeah, I mean, and again, they keep 8, and the talent was there. These guys displayed it all throughout preseason. And one thing that's interesting about the guys who have made the team, and I think this just speaks volumes, just overall, right? Tyquan Thornton comes from New England, 2nd round pick, doesn't whatever happened there, it didn't work out. He comes here. He's got a renewed confidence. He's playing with Pat, catching bombs, dominating training camp and then preseason games. Brownlee makes the team of the Jets. I don't know what happened with that. He ends up getting cut from the New York Jets. Was up there again. He comes to Kansas City, displays talent. And I believe if you watched the Hard Knocks from 2 years ago when the Rodgers Hard Knocks, Brownlee was flashing all throughout that Hard Knocks. I remember it stood out to me. And then, he plays well during preseason, makes the squad, but then, gets cut. And then he comes here and he's making this team. And like, he looks like a diamond in the rough that we found and another gem. And it just speaks to like new situations. And I know we talk about how Sky Moore can go elsewhere and may flourish, but like it seems like that's happening, and we're seeing the other side of that. We're seeing the Brownlees and Tyquan Thorntons coming over here and really excelling. And obviously, we haven't seen them in the regular season yet, but so everything we've seen so far, it seems like we found two dudes who can contribute.
Yeah, we have, and that's what you do. You know, the Chiefs searched to get guys that is very talented that other teams weren't using or utilizing in their system, and so they thought, hey, let's bring these guys in, see if they can fit here, and they did. They went out there, and then, you know, during off season, the guys kind of got acclimated to some of the things that we were doing, the scheme we were running. And a lot of it is just the terminology. It really is. I think they had a talent. And so when you seek those things out and you can envision what they can do, then you bring a guy like that in. It's the same thing like San Fran brings in Sky Moore. So they was like, hey, look, we believe Sky has something for us, that he can come into our system and give us something. So it's just part of the whole NFL deal. But I'm glad they're here. I'm glad they're here. Like you said, Tyquan Thornton, Jason Brownlee, those guys, they got it to them. They do. And now it creates more opportunity because of the Rashee Rice suspension, and then you're saying Jalen Royals missing the first game. So it's going to be good. They're going to get some playing time, as they should. They earned it. That's what I told Brownlee. I said, man, you earned that spot. Nobody took it from you, man. You earned it. You see, I was on the cusp because I was like, man, I knew we was going to carry 7 wide receivers. I was like, dang, the next guy has to be Jason Brownlee. And then, you know, here we are. You got it. Good deal. Good deal.
And from the jump, right? I mean, Mahomes plays before that last preseason game. He threw one pass technically because the other one was a DPI. But he throws one pass, it's that fade route or the back shoulder to Brownlee, and it's like, okay, we got something here. And it goes to what you kind of mentioned in your spiel, like we've had guys like that ish. We didn't really utilize them, but the fact that, like, you know, we're keeping 8 and Brownlee's going to make the team, and we know what he can do in the red zone, and we saw that we already, you know, attempted to do stuff with him in the red zone. Do you think that
the AFC East is just KC's farming system?
our minor league guys?
Yeah.
Do you think they're actually going to utilize him? We've seen before, right? With Justin Ross, Josh Gordon, we had those guys come in, and, you know, like, oh, we might have a guy in a red zone, a jump ball dude. We're finally going to utilize someone like that. And we always talk about our types, and pretty much everybody else the guys on this team are somewhat our types. But also, if you look at these guys' heights and their measurements, we kind of are going away from our usual a small guy kind of type, right?
Oh, we'll say that. Now, hold on now. Don't go too far. We ain't getting away from that. We got a type here, okay? There's no question about it, all right? We have a type, and we're going to stick with that type. Now, if we want to bring in a couple of guys to fit into this, like, and I think, Marcus, what it is we had to bring in those type of guys. We see those guys other places do well. And I think it just, what it does, opens us up even more to more versatility in our game, you know, to score. And we've seen that. So why not do it in preseason? We were successful. Throw it to Brownlee. Very successful. He snags one. This is a beautiful throw and catch. Beautiful. And so sometimes when you're sitting there looking at the guy who's 5'10", you know, standing on a couple of eggshells, you know, you want to say, hey, look, we might get the guy that actually is 6'2" to kind of do these things, right? And so, you know, we weren't throwing it up to Tyreek Hill. He had to jump up and do something amazing to go get it. Now you got a guy who can get on his toes and kind of climb the ladder a little bit and get what you want. So, and it didn't even take the tight ends to be that guy. And the tight ends still can do that. So, now, look, hey, we have a type. That ain't going to change. That is not going to change. But what we did is we just added on to our repertoire and our arsenal. That was it. So great for Nagy and Andy thinking that way. So I love it.
Yeah. I guess you're right. As far, I guess I'm just talking about the based on the stature wise. I think it might be the first time in the Mahomes era where we have 6'2" guys superseding the 5'10" below guys as far as the amount of Thornton's 6'2", Brownlee's a tall dude, Rice and Royals, but then you have Worthy and Hollywood and Remigio, the smallerish dudes. So it's like I think the first time that they're in the minority. The 5'10" below guys are in the minority for the first time.
Oh yeah. Hey, look, I love it because what it gives us, as far as creativity, offensively. So, no, it's good. It's good stuff.
I love it. Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, no, it's gonna be interesting to see how this offense works. I know we talk about the deep ball, and while what's his name is Thornton is a tallerish guy. I mean, he's still a 4'2", 40 guy, so he can run like the short dudes, but he gives a little bit more size. And we talked about what we want MVS to be, and this could be that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sports cars, Pat throwing missiles to Worthy, Brownlee, and Thornton downfield. Wow. I can't wait, man. We have 9 days till we get to see this in Brazil. Woof.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So.
Yeah. MVS in better hands, hopefully. MVS, you see, went to San Francisco. He and Sky Moore, I think they're going to bring in Kadarius Toney, too. They're going to bring a bunch of the old dudes and bring the old Chiefs receiver crew to San Francisco. I made up the Toney part. All right. So now we're going to you mentioned tight ends, JD. So now we're going to go to the room, our favorite room, the tight end room. And so yesterday, I get a DM when everyone's waiting. Everyone keeps updating their Twitter account. Yep. I get a DM from a very reliable source that says, "Hey, Jake Briningstool's making the team," and I'm like, "Whoa, what?" And I'm like, "What?" And immediately my mind starts wondering, like, "Wait, what does that mean? What's that mean for Tonyan? What's that mean for violating?" And also tells you how much they like Briningstool because we barely saw him. He had the hamstring injury pretty much throughout training camp and whatnot, and they obviously saw enough to be like, you know what? If this kid goes to waivers, we're not getting him back. That's that tells me. So I get that message. I'm like, okay, all right. So, and this reliable source. So I tweet that. Some people are like, oh, you're not an insider. Why are you tweeting stuff? I'm like, okay, well, I don't. I don't normally tweet stuff. I don't consider myself an insider whatsoever. Right, but right. We have some contacts who are close to the team, naturally. So we get this, and it's like, okay, well, Briningstool makes the team. But then the list comes out, and it's like, oh, Chiefs are keeping Kelce, Gray, Wiley. Briningstool is on the team, but he's going to IR. And from what I've been told, he'll be back within 4 weeks. And the big shock was Big Bob, Robert Tonyan, did not make the team initially. That today he was on the practice field, and it's seeming he was added to the practice squad, and he'll probably be elevated to the active roster once Rashee Rice is officially on the suspension list. But JD, you were a big Briningstool fan before we got him, and you were like, oh, he'll be on the practice squad for us when you made your list the other day. But how surprised were you to see the Chiefs were that into a guy who we barely saw throughout training camp, that they put him on the roster and put him on an IR right away to keep him away from other teams? And then also Tonyan still being back on the team as well. Just talk to us about how you feel about this crazy 5 tight ends tight end room.
No, I mean, come on, man. Look, as a tight end, I've been singing their praises all day as far as like the type of talent we have there. And it was always like one of those things like, what are you going to do? Briningstool gets hurt during camp. But I spoke to Tom, and me and Tom both were sitting there scratching our heads like, hey, man, how did this guy go undrafted? He's like, man, Jason, I don't know. He was like one of my top guys. I said, man, I put him on a list. I went to another podcast when I was talking about it. I said, Briningstool was one of my top 5 tight ends. Actually, it was like 2, of course, everybody knew that was going to get drafted. But Briningstool was right there. Like he should have been at least number 6 or 7 tight end taken. No doubt about it as far as like with his athletic ability, what he was able to do at Clemson. And so you've seen that also during camp until he got slowed down with the injury, right? I seen him on the sideline like, God, what's going on with him? But the Chiefs, they knew what they had in him. I think Briningstool is a guy that you give him time to develop. He's going to be a baller. He's going to be a baller. This is a no-brainer for them to have Briningstool. None whatsoever. Like I said, because of the things he did in college, but also what they saw, Marcus, you can see greatness in guys that you just don't want to be able to let go. So this is good for him. It's good for the Chiefs. Then going to, Robert Tonyan. Robert Tonyan, like I said before, he's been there before. This is one of the greatest moves I feel like the Chiefs needed to do, or how they was going to be able to keep him, because he's just a too talented guy just to release. And all preseason, all he did was produce. caught balls, got open, jumped, leaping over guys. Robert Tonyan is back in form. That's what he's doing. And why not come here in a spot that I call the best tight end room in the business? Because it is. Me and Tom both said that. I was like, man, there's hands down, nobody else. And so when you're sitting over there with a Travis Kelce and Noah Gray and Jared Wiley, Robert Tonyan and Jake Briningstool, who's learning all these things from all these guys, this just has experience. You just setting yourself up for great tight end play in the future as well. So we don't quite know what's going to happen with Travis Kelce. I think if he wins, they win this, not if. When they win this one, Travis, he's going to get married and ride off into the sunset. That's what you do. Go out on your shield. Go out on your shield. When he made a statement about, I can't go out like that, that's what he meant. I think if he won this one, that might have been the last one. I think that was really on the back of his mind. But he didn't want to tell anybody that. And he got embarrassed. The team got embarrassed. And he couldn't let that slide. I knew who he is. So what did he do? He went back to work. He got himself into shape. He started building himself into becoming the guy that he wants to be, that he has been over this time, as being one of the most dominant tight ends in the game ever. That's what he was doing. And so this is a great example for the young guys to see, especially a Jake Briningstool and a Jared Wiley. But now a Robert Tonyan, who could be that guy that moves into the room. And I said this, Marcus, I keep saying it. Robert Tonyan is a starting tight end anywhere else. If he hadn't gotten hurt, Robert Tonyan would have been right up there in the conversation with, who do you want to use? Kind of in that sense, like Laporta or my guy from Pittsburgh, Freiermuth, any of those guys. He was just that good, and he was coming along. He was, and then injuries derailed him, and just like Briningstool too. So it's going to be steps for guys, but I love this move by the Chiefs.
So now when you look at the room, right, we were talking about potentially Kelce, Gray, Wiley, Briningstool, and Tonyan. When Briningstool's off IR, Tonyan potentially gets moved into the active roster. I mean, do you think there's a chance we could actually see them dressing 5 tight ends? JD, that's you say it's the most talented tight end room, but then you got 5 dudes. It's like, man, like how do you play this? Even 4 is debatable.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, you only got one football. You do. And so it's going to be tight as far as reps, what you're going to be able to do. Now, they could get creative. I don't know if you dress 5. You could definitely probably do 4, and those 2 guys are going to have to play special teams, like significant amount of special teams. And they're going to be able to give something. But I think it's why they brought like all those linebackers back too. And I was kind of, we'll get into that. But still, with that being said, I don't think you dress 5 tight ends, or is that what you were saying, that dressing 5? Or not?
Yeah, I was saying there's going to be a certain point where Briningstool's off IR, and then when Tonyan is, if they do bring Tonyan to the active roster, I mean, they're going to have it's going to be very interesting to see what they do, because they obviously love Briningstool enough to keep him on the roster. They put him on the IR, and so then when he's off of IR, which I'm told his hamstring injury is not serious. I mean, he'll be back within 4 weeks. What I've been told. So then, like, what happens when that 4 weeks comes? I guess is my question. And when you have Tonyan, when you have Wiley, when you have Kelce and Gray, I mean, what happens at that point? It's a luxury to have that many talented tight ends, but what happens?
But you can move Briningstool to practice squad. You don't have to have him. You know what I mean?
Can he be claimed by another team once he goes to your team's practice squad?
He could, but that's you got shoot. That's the chance you got to take. It's the chance you got to take. So hopefully, what you do is you kind of keep him just like, okay, he's in our you kind of be quiet about everything. Let him, hey man, you take it slow. We don't need for you to get back now, but when he does, we'll just have to see. Because you got to realize also too, and here's the point of it, is there's a lot of people that got released yesterday. There's a lot of names that I saw looking over the list. I'm like, daggone, that dude, really? I'm like, we might need to go ahead and knock on his door. I've seen a few names like that. So So you just play the game because you don't know. But, if you got him on iron down, he's kind of in the system. He makes the decision if he wants to go somewhere, then that's on him.
So when a team approaches a person that's in a practice squad, they have the chance to say no. I
think they do. I think they can say like, "No, I want to stay here." I think, yeah. But everybody wants to play. If a guy's getting thrusted into play and he's going to make more money, if I get to be the guy, then I want to go be the guy.
Right.
That's why it's like, kind of a rare thing. But if you're happy, sure, why not? I mean, the money's different for one. Two, you get a chance and opportunity to play. Everybody wants to play. Everybody wants to make more money. So you want to be an integral part of what you do, any team. So,
yeah. But hey, I mean, it's like what you said. It's one of the best talented tight end rooms in the league, and we're talking about five. We're talking about five guys, and Trey Watson's even saw it. And you said you noticed he was doing well when you went to training camp as well. I mean, they have 6 talented tight ends from practice squad and on the active roster. So man, they got it is tight end university in Kansas City. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Easier to move Briningstool to practice squad later in the year than the 53. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
Well said, Cal. Absolutely.
All right. So now we're going to get to probably the biggest shock, I would say, of yesterday was Mike Pennel.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
No. Go ahead. Now, I wanted this guy to go through the whole roster first before we get into, I don't know if everybody knows the roster.
Yeah, we can go to that. You want to do that now before we get to Pennel?
Let's go to that.
Okay. All right, let me pull it up.
Talk about those. Okay. Because I got something on Big Mike, man, I want to talk about too.
Okay. We can do that. All right. I'll just go to the team's website. That cool?
Right. Well, okay. No, let's stick with the program. We good. We'll keep
Mike?
Yeah, let's go ahead, man. Yeah. Let's talk about Big Mike. Let me get this off my chest, man. Let's go ahead and talk about Big Mike. Yes, sir.
So big shock yesterday, and still, I think Chiefs Kingdom still can't comprehend what's going on. But long time Chiefs defensive tackle Mike Pennel and friend of the show did not make the team. And from what I've been told from some reliable sources, it does not look like Pennel will be coming back to KC as of right now, which is a huge loss to our team and mostly a defensive line and mainly our run stuffing abilities. Because Pennel has been one of those guys, man, through and through. You can always rely on him to stop the run. But JD, I mean, what do you make of this move, and what do you make of the current defensive tackle room? Because right now, I'm at a loss because it seems like all the other things we can look at, we say, okay, this makes sense here, this makes sense, but like this doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, okay, so. Big Mike understands this thing is a business, right? And sometimes business sucks. Doesn't mean it makes it right. But Mike Pennel, and what I sent you a couple of things, man. I want you to kind of download, put those up. Mike Pennel has been nothing but a consummate pro. He has. The reason we have been successful against the run the past few years is because of Mike Pennel. What Mike Pennel was been able to do, especially last year. We seen him in year 10, 11 when he's putting this work in. That he still had a lot of ball still playing. He still had a lot of ball. That the Chiefs rewarded him with another 1-year deal. That's what they did, because Mike Pennel was that run stuffer. That's what he did well. That was his forte. Big Mike, man, with them big arms. I say he got the biggest arms in the league. Okay, when he came on our show and he's wearing sleeveless shirt, you know what I mean, and he's filling up the screen, he's as advertised. Not only is it because of his run stuffing ability, but because of his personality and his character. What I said is that you have to have veterans on the team that's going to be able to mentor young guys to help them understand what the league is all about. And who's a better example or better guy than a guy like Mike Pennel, who's been to a couple of teams, who's seen it all, who's had different coordinators, different guys he played with up there in Green Bay, that taught him the ropes, which a couple of Hall of Famers that he saw that can teach a young guy. Now, all of a sudden, he's passing that information and that knowledge on and wisdom to the younger dudes as well. So I think a voice like Mike Pennel, man, is going to be missed in the locker room if they did this. And to be honest, Marcus, when I heard that, and when you first hit me, I'm just like, what are you talking about, Mike Pennel? I thought, man, it was just maybe like he was an automatic guy that they just forgot to say his name, right? It's like, oh, hey, coach, you don't have Mike Pennel on. What do you mean you don't have Mike on there? Of course I got Mike. He's like, no, he's not on there. But that wasn't the case. It wasn't going to cost the Chiefs that much money either. Part of the contract is going to be taken up by the NFLPA. That's how our union works. So it wasn't like he was killing them at the bank that made it where he was, like, oh my gosh, he's making $20 million, and look, Mike is worth every penny that we gave him and then some, because sometimes those attributes that he displays, it's more than just a football player. It's his presence in the locker room. It's part of like getting those young guys comfortable. Like we watched him talking to, George Karlaftis, Turk Wharton, his relationships that everybody has, talking to Big Brother. He's a big brother to a lot of guys. So Mike Pennel, he fit the mold of wanting to having a warrior. You know how you look at these movies in different places and all of a sudden you're having a tough time in battle. And you're like behind enemy lines, you don't quite know what's going on. And all of a sudden, here comes a company coming in, and here's Mike Pennel as a general with a cigar in his mouth. And you're like, daggone, where you come from? And everybody's telling stories about him. That's who Mike Pennel is. He's like, oh, yeah, he's been in this battle. He knows how to do it well. If you want to follow a guy like this. That's who Mike Pennel is. So when I seen this news, I was baffled. I just completely kind of taken back because it didn't really make any sense, to be honest with you, because I'm sitting there saying that besides Chris Jones, who's the other run stopper that we have at the defensive tackle? Now, look, I'm not taking away from any other guys there. Jared Tillery is a very talented guy, but he's still trying to learn how to take two on that Big Mike was doing. Big Mike bench presses guards and centers for a living. He probably has a couple of jerseys and a couple of guards and centers in his house that he's just bench pressing just to get himself in shape. And so now, all of a sudden, we don't have our run stopper there. After getting our teeth kicked in the preseason, guys are just running down our throats. And it started from the beginning. Now, obviously, Chris comes in and he makes everybody that much better. But Mike Pennel made everybody that much better because he allowed everybody else to do their job. He allows Nick Bolton to do his job. He allows Drew Tranquil to do his job. Leo Chanel, Chris Jones, the defensive ends, Mike Dana, Menahu, and all those guys they work in conjunction with one another. And Mike Pennel was one of those. He was one of those pieces, at least for me. This is my opinion, okay? Now, the Chiefs do whatever they want to do, okay? And I'm just going ahead and I'm going to say that. Now, they make a decision, fine, whatever. But to be honest with you, for me, I didn't understand how this thing came down to it, man. Numbers bear it out too, what Mike was able to give to the Chiefs. So this was a shame. It was a shocker, but this is business, man. This is with the Chiefs. This is business. It's how it is. This right here, like this article, read it on Substack. A guy, what's that, Herbie Tiapo? I don't know. Tipo, maybe?
Tiopi.
Okay. Herbie Tiopi. And that right there, the headlines, Chiefs resigned defensive tackle Mike Pennel to one-year deal. The proven run-stuffing Pennel is back for another tour of duty. That's exactly what he's there for. He is right on point for whatever that. So you get a chance to look at this, man. I mean, look at it. So bringing back Pennel more than makes sense. The 6'4", 303-pound Pennel is a proven run-stuffing interior player. He also provides another veteran presence alongside defensive tackles Chris Jones and Jerry Tillery, whom the Chiefs previously signed to a one-year contract during free agency. Pennel, who turns 34 in May, was a major contributor last season for the Chiefs, appearing in 17 games with 7 starts. He logged the 3rd most interior defensive snaps behind Jones and Tershawn Wharton on the Chiefs roster. Wharton is gone. So you got your guy. So that's where I am, man. I just, but look, the Chiefs they make the decisions, how it played out. This is part of the business in the NFL, right? And they could justify and validate if they want to. Okay. I'm just voicing my opinion. Like I didn't see us coming because of the contribution of a Mike Pennel, his effectiveness. And it wasn't just on the football field. It was all the other things, Marcus, that he was able to exude, for his personality and whatnot. So that's what I'm gonna say, man. I'm gonna leave it right there with that. What do you think?
I mean, I think I'm just with you and like with everybody else. It's like I'm kind of at it was one of those, we talk about guys who are penciled into the teams. Like, okay, you didn't really have to mention these guys because they're already they come with it, right? And I thought Pennel was already penciled in, and it's like when I saw, he didn't make the team. I'm like, what? And then it doesn't make any sense because what he's stellar at is run defense, and what we saw in preseason was kind of a little leaky. Yeah, we didn't see Chris Jones till the last game, but again, I mean, we talked about that. I mean, you can't really see your team when your guys aren't there, and we've seen what Pennel and Jones are together as a tandem.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty damn good defensive tackle group as far as stopping the run there. So like
hard to deal with.
I just don't get it. Yeah, and I think in a lot of these Kansas City Star, because I see Kenneth Keaton there mentioning report one of the Kansas City Star guys saying that he won't be on the initial practice squad, but still could come back once roster spots are open. I hope that's the case, but for the intel I'm getting, I don't know. I hope that is the case because let's go into one of these games. Let's go into the Chargers when Harbaugh's going to run the ball a lot. When we go against the Ravens, when they're going to run the ball a lot, you're going to learn real fast that with
Eagles second game of the season, first game, second game of the season. Okay, Giants. Who you want to start with? Where you want to go? Because that's what it's going to be. So
they're going to learn real fast that like how pivotal Mike Pennel was to this team. And for me, it's like we talked about it last week. Like, yeah, we were happy we brought back Noddy from a depth standpoint, from a veteran presence depth standpoint. But if that meant that was a replacement for Mike Pennel, then it's like, whoa, then I'm not okay with that trade at all because that's seemingly what it seems like, right? You bring him in right before the cut down day, and it's like, wait, that wasn't a depth piece. That was more you were replacing him with Noddy over Pennel, and for me, that just doesn't make sense at all. And we love the front office. We trust the front office, but myself and it sounds like you and much of Chiefs Kingdom just disagrees on that one.
Look, and it could have been both. They could have got to the point where they was like, Noddy coming here and he depth piece, it would be fine. And then they came to the numbers, and it always takes somebody standing on the table for you, and they get to the point of like, okay, what are we gaining and what are we losing with this, right? And they went into the reasoning, and they got here with it. They got here with it. So this is. I mean, I'm just saying from me, Mike Pennel, what he gave and what he shows was a valuable piece to our defense and to our team, and so. They decided to go elsewhere with it, at least right now, right? Like you said, is something opens up, but I'm sitting there thinking like, hold on. But that's why I wanted to kind of talk about like who's all on the roster, Mark. We needed to see who's on the roster, who all made it, so we can go into these conversations a little bit more like, okay, wait a minute, hold on. Who's not here? Who made it? We got to look on the defensive line, who all made it, the defensive line. And, when somebody's looking at that, and look, I'll say this too. the Chiefs may try to scheme up different things. I remember I told you in camp they brought Ashton Gelati down to play 3 technique. They're not asking him to be that guy. If they're sitting there saying that Norman Lott is still trying to make a transition to be that dude because all these minutes have been a pass rusher from the nose tackle 3 technique position, a defensive tackle position, seemed like you would keep a guy like Mike Pennel there that is that's his forte, right? So that's why the questions come in. Like, hold on, wait, okay, all right, it's a question. So, business, brother, business.
So it doesn't look like the Chiefs roster website is updated as far as having the practice squad guys, but I have a different list for that. So I'll show the list of what they have on the website right now.
Mm-hmm. Crystal Lee is right. Yeah, they can still be Mike Pennel back in the middle of the season. So JD's word as well. Hopefully we'll be fine. Yeah, hopefully we'll be fine. Hopefully, guys are getting it done.
So do you want me to go D end or D line? D. Okay, so this is they got it kind of all mixed in here.
Yeah, you should have. Share with.
Yeah, Kyle, I have Charles' practice squad tracker on a different tab, so we'll go to that once we get outside of the active 53 guys. Depth chart should be updated. Okay, here. All right, so there's the depth chart there, JD. Man, that defensive tackle looks so thin, dude.
Well, this is. This is where the versatility comes in. Like I said, they might try to do some things differently. And maybe they were thinking, hey, we need guys to be a little bit faster. Maybe we need to be more of a penetrating defense, getting into the gap and playing a little bit more of that. There could be a lot of different ways that got to this place, Marcus, but I just, for me, when I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this defensive tackle, Chris Jones, Jerry Tillery, Omar Norman Lott, and everybody else's defensive ends, but they're all interchangeable. Like you can use Charles Bennett, who down there at 3 technique. We've seen Mike Dana kind of move down, Ashton Gelati, same thing. I just, like I said, Jerry Tillery, I think Jerry Tillery is kind of like that versatile guy that can maybe move out. I didn't see him like stopping 2 guys, upholding at the line of scrimmage, like holding at the point of attack. That's what you need. You need a big body at the point of attack. Mike Pennel, 6'6", 330. Come on, man. That's a rhino right there. You ain't moving that easy. You're just not. Like they know they got to do some cleans and deadlifts when they go against a guy like this, and he's gonna smack you dead in your throat, especially a wily vet like Mike Pennel. So maybe they're thinking, okay, more speed. Maybe that's it. So
yeah, and this depth chart doesn't have Noddy on there right now either.
Right, and Noddy is on there too. So,
It's baffling, man.
Yep. Yeah. I'm yes. Put it that way. I'm shocked that and not really, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On 7 linebackers. I thought we would carry more, probably 6. I know I put 5 up, but I thought maybe 6. We do 6. I was thinking that for sure. But we got 7. So you're expecting those guys, these are special teams guys. That's what you're looking for. John Cochran, Brandon George, and Cooper McDonald. They're going to be doing those things. So,
yeah. And some people are very excited about some of the guys you added to our practice squad. the big ones, Broderick, Martin. I believe we talked about him a couple years ago during in the run to the draft. He was defensive tackle from Western Kentucky. Got drafted in the 3rd round by the Detroit Lions.
I remember him. Yeah.
Big kid.
Yeah.
Big dude, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a practice squad list from A to Z Sports.
Mm-hmm.
So they brought back Marlon Tipilotu, and as well as Broderick Martin there, Kozai Izzard. So they have some defensive tackle guys there, and I will say, I mean, they're not Mike Pennel. Mike Pennel has shown in the deepest of playoff games, the biggest games of them all, what he can do. I mean, let's even go to the Super Bowl from this last year. Yeah, we got our butts kicked, but what was the one thing we stopped in that game? It was the run game. Saquon Barkley was going off against everybody, but what's the one game he didn't go off? It was against us. It was like the first game he didn't have over 100 yards in like a month or so.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Maybe we put too much emphasis on that, but we did a good job. But we did a good job all year.
Yeah.
Just run. It wasn't just that game. All year we did a great job. So I think it maybe one game with that one dude had it look pretty decent. Maybe was it the Broncos? Not quite sure, but I think one game was like, okay, maybe. But other than that, man, we were solid. I want to say we was probably one of the top run defenses in the league, wasn't we?
I believe so. Yeah, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah. So get into that stat, man. I just want to talk about my guy Mike, man.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all adulation I have for this brother. You know what I'm saying? Because all the things he was able to give. I mean, that's a leader. That's what you need, a leader to teach these young guys the ropes, the way to get things done. Like I said, man, he's that warrior that you look for. And so our DT room is terrible outside of Jones. Let's be real here. Lott not proven. Nadi has been not good for years now. And Tillery is kind of improving. I mean, I ain't gonna argue with you.
And also too, I mean, Pennel is the only true defensive tackle on the team. I mean, but Lott's rookie. Jones can play inside, outside. I mean, yes, Jones is a defensive tackle, a beast, defensive end beast. I mean, he can do whatever. But Pennel is the only true tackle we have on this team. I know Nadi's there, but that's it, because everybody else can play both inside and outside. They're not really specialization as a defensive tackle. He specializes in stopping the run, and he's done that against the best run teams in 2 straight Super Bowls, the Niners and the Eagles. And it's I don't know what I really, it's baffling.
Well, like I said before, man, he is. Are you thinking smaller players shoot the gap? Especially on short yardage. You don't need a guy like that 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1. 4th and 2. You're going to need a big bruiser in the middle that's going to hold up. Big Mike put those jokers right on his shoulders, man, and stop them right there in their tracks. So I just, like I said, man, this type of business that's sometime the NFL. Sparkle Sports Card said it correctly. I think part of it is maybe his ageism, and they kind of get guys like it, but it's that's the dude that you do get, especially if part of the league, NFLPA is paying some of the contract. I think it still is a thing. After you get a certain number of years, they help out on because they want to keep older guys, employed. That's what they do, right? Because it ain't sometimes when the guys get older, well, we going for youth. I get it. But is this you going to bring you in what this guy right here does? Maybe not. More than likely, they don't. So I get it. You got to develop guys. Teams make their own decision about things. But all I want to say is, Big Mike, man, you've been an incredible player here. So we'll see where this thing's going to go. See where it's going to go.
So Veach, make the call and bring Mike back.
Hey, Mike, we had you on here, man. I don't know. Man, somehow Mikey May got deleted. We don't know how it happened. It just make it right. When I seen the tweet of them Mike Edwards and Robert Tonyan back, I was like, okay, that's what you need vets like this. Where's Mike? Make it complete. Bring Mike back. So,
and one thing I'll tell you that it tells you how great Mike has been as far as stopping the run and why. I mean, it's like everyone's perplexed by it. Mm-hmm. Usually, Chiefs team is very polarized. There's a divisive thing. You got one side of this, one side of that. It's pretty much there's no split to this Mike Pennel thing. It's almost 100%. Everyone's like, "What happened to Mike? Why isn't Mike on the team right now?" So there's no like two sides to it. It's pretty much generally Chiefs Kingdom is all on board with the same kind of what's going on with Mike kind of thing.
Well, and because everybody watched preseason, everybody's like, "Huh? Huh?" Like, okay. So, yeah. Well. And Nadi comes back and look, Nadi was hurt when he was here. Okay. If he's back healthy and would give us something, cool. That was Nadi and Pennel. Those guys still need to be the guys, I still think. With Chris, I think it's great rotation, man. And then Omar Lott, him too. So, amen.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to go to our final topic here, and then we're going to put the link in the chat so you guys can hop in to talk and ask us questions about what you think about the roster. And I'm seeing a lot of Issa Pole comments, so I'm sure you'll get a question about that, JD.
They try to tell you. Hey, look, I like the guy, but.
Yeah, people are putting him on the potentially starting left tackle status. And it's like, okay, I mean, it's one thing if you want him to stay on the roster because it's good to have depth there. But like to say the guy's going to be starting the left tackle based on what dominating third and fourth quarter of the preseason games, we'll get to that in a second.
But that conversation is kind of funny because they were blasting King Suma and he's not going to be there. And you want to put a guy who's unproven going against third teamers and he's supposed to be the guy. He's a developmental dude, without a doubt. Love his size, love what he was able to do. But hey, man, you got to go with experience. I'm not lining that joker up against Max Crosby. Not doing it. No, sir. So you'd be a fool to do something like that. Foolish. That's foolish. Okay. So I get developmental, sure. Practice squad, I think he's on the practice squad, right? Or did somebody already pick?
Jets got him and Cam Jones.
Jets, yeah. So, okay. Jets. Hey, man, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. He's going to be a hell of a player, hopefully, in the near future. But people's like, oh, we don't. We done tried that. We're not going to do that. Not going to. Can't.
Yeah.
Not with 15 on the line.
I mean, just like we said, Driscoll was never going to start. Yeah, it was great to keep him around, but like we said, Driscoll's not going to start. He's not the answer, and he's not. I mean, he's a good guy to have back there, developing and learning. But like, there's no world where Driscoll was ever going to start, and just like there was no world where Issa Pole was ever going to start for us. It was never going. That was not going to happen. And some fans actually think that.
Yeah, how does one get experience then? You get experience, you see it out there at practice, but you don't get experience in the main game unless you have thrusted into that. And look, Wanya got thrusted into that role, and he did a decent job when he was in there. It had to be perfect, but he was getting some of those jobs done. There was times, obviously, that Wanya was hurt too. Like I don't think anybody goes into that context of that. But just to say, okay, we're gonna throw a dude out here and do no. You're going to have to get your work in. That's how you get your experience, Kyle. You do it on the practice squad, a young guy like this, okay, because he goes against the ones. And then that's how he develops. Now, they picked it up. Let's pick it up. JD, what's the talent gap between developmental players and immediate impact players, rookie-wise? Talent? Oh, man. When you got a project, and developmental players, it could be this wide, but or even this small, and even that small, you get out like 15 hurt. They get your running back over in the blue tent. That's the gap. And as smaller than he is, as some developmental guys, you got to realize, like, some guys are farther along than others, and some things are workable. Like Wanye is, I think, a guy that was workable, that you can say, okay, these are some things we had to work on to get you there. Same thing with King Suma. King Suma was one of those, like, you got to get him into game shape. He's going to learn what he's doing. He's a high pick for a reason. Wanye is a third-round pick for a reason. And so these are guys that you saw a lot of potential in. And even if they had development, you knew maybe the development wasn't going to take as long. Okay? So that's kind of like what you got to figure out. So that's where you look for immediate impact players. Josh Simmons, immediate impact player. Why? Because Josh Simmons was the best tackle coming out of college this past year. It was only the knee. So that's what you had to test. It was the medical part with him. Other than that, it wasn't talent. So there it is. Thin. But that, you talking about speed, that'll get you beat deep. Get some corn in there. So
all right, so now we're gonna get to another. We talk about divisive topics in Chiefs Kingdom. Well, we have one for you if you love those. So, Chiefs end up keeping 4 running backs as you rightfully predicted on Monday. Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, Brashard Smith, and Elijah Mitchell, all 4 kept. Carson Steele gone, and Elijah Mitchell kept. A lot of people didn't think that was going to happen. But there was also that report that came out last week that the Chiefs were interested in bringing a veteran running back, and naturally people looked at the biggest names out there, the Breece Halls of the world, the Tyler Algiers of the world, but no, the Chiefs went back to the the guys they know, and that's bringing back former first-round pick CEH. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back at the Chiefs practice squad today, which, again, talk about divisive topics, 2 camps, some happy about it to have our guy back, some not happy about to have him back. But, JD, do you think the Chiefs are set at running back, and what do you make of bringing CEH back to the Kansas City Chiefs?
I think we said at running back. I said that, before. We got, 4 guys that are capable. Now, obviously, 3 of the guys are veterans. They understand. They got experience, and I trust them. I trust Isaiah Pacheco. I trust Kareem Hunt, and I trust Elijah Mitchell. I trust those guys because they are proven. They are proven guys who have been successful in this league. That's why I didn't feel like we had to go out and cover the other guys and all who we need to get here. These guys do a good job for what we do. And sometimes we just need that. What was that, 3 yards in a cloud of dust that Kareem Hunt's going to get you? We don't need that home run ball. But now we got him with Brashard Smith. We're going to let him develop. So then we got a young dude that's going to be able to develop, who can catch the ball out the backfield, who can go against any linebacker, safety, or anybody one-on-one in a pass, running the route. He's going to win. That's what you want, matchups. So we got a good mix of guys, okay, that's going to be able to do a lot of different things well. And I think we're fine with that. I think we are. So, and everybody's bringing all these different names and stuff like that. I'm like, yo, I like what we got in the room. I liked it. Still like it. Now, CEH's coming back. Good for him. Good for us. CH he's part of our family. So you welcome him back into the fold. And the last time he was here, there was some things he was going through. It's like, man, and our hearts went out to CEH, in this whole ordeal that he was going through, and still are. But it was good because he's coming back to familiarity. I still think he's a very talented back. A lot of people don't like it. I don't think they thought, well, you think TH is going to come back and just going to thrust him in as number 1? That's not, he's on the practice squad because there's still developmentals and all those different things. But it doesn't hurt us at all. It just only helps us. It's part of our family member coming back here. So I think we're good. Welcome back, CEH. That's how I look at it. Welcome back. Matter of fact, it gives you another chance and opportunity to another ring. He needs to experience that. I love that for him. Okay? So.
And the one thing that stood out to me bringing back CEH, I see Pete V here has a nice comment. CEH is a premium pickup because he knows the system. And that's one thing that stood out to me, right? Bringing back a guy who's not only a veteran, but he knows the system. And what's the one thing that CEH was when he was drafted? He was a highly touted receiving back out of the backfield. I still think we should have used him more as a receiving back, and we didn't really. But he brings that vibe. And there's been years where he had caught 35 balls or 40 balls 1 year out of the backfield. So there was elements that we did use of that. But Brashard Smith is a receiving back, right? Receiver who's playing running back, and he can be a badass third down back. We saw it, elements of that in that third preseason game. But to have a guy like CH to be like, hey, like, I know how they might utilize you. Like, to have that kind of guy teaching Brashard Smith, I think whether CH ever gets activated the active roster or not, he's going to have that tutelage of Brashard Smith, and I love that.
Absolutely. And a guy that we got CH here, that was going to be his role. That was why we got him here, right? Perfect way to say it, Marcus, because that's true. A lot of that is in the mentoring aspect of it, right? Who could do it better than CH about what it is that's required of him, how you should look. You got some similarities as far as like being able to catch the ball out the backfield. So I love this move. I do. And so, some people might not like it and all despise it and stuff. Okay, well, I disagree with that. I do. Just for the simple fact of what you're just saying right there. And I told you it takes the vets to teach these young guys how it's done. And even guys in those positions that can do it well. So, and even has a different game. Like Brashard has a different game than, Isaiah Pacheco and a Kareem Hunt, Elijah Mitchell maybe, but then of course, Rashard Smith, you send him up the seam route, or like you said, arrow route angle. Shoot, you can have him run a comeback on the outside, a couple of reverses and whatnot. Yeah, this is I think a good move as far as dealing with that. Bringing CH back on the practice squad.
Yeah,
and like I said, it gives an opportunity. Go ahead.
No, I say, like I say, if nothing more, just to be a veteran to kind of, because that's the thing. It's like you talked about before, like guys have played with other guys, they've experienced, right? And they can take the experience they've gotten, right? From like Brashard Smith will never play with Jerick McKinnon, right? He'll never play with Jet McKinnon. But who did play with Jet McKinnon? Pacheco did, as well as CH did. CH was probably more closely to Jet McKinnon as far as skill-wise, as far as being in that receiving type back out of the backfield, was more so him, right? So he could take his knowledge, he could take what Jet McKinnon taught him, and bestow that to the next generation of Brashard Smith. And I think if everyone as high as Brashard Smith, like I am and you are, then like that, they give him more knowledge and educate this kid to the best possible ability, and he can take the Jerick McKinnon, the CH stuff, and apply that to himself, and he can be that badass receiving back that we all hope he can be.
Yeah, no, all of that, no question about it. I think he will. Just like Michael said, Smith has the instincts and vision. Don't think he needs much help. Absolutely needs help. He doesn't have that yet, Justin. We've seen that preseason. And it takes time. And where it's different in college is, and I keep saying this, that there's a pulse and a tempo in blocking the NFL. The guys are bigger, they're faster, linebackers are faster, the schemes are different. And so you're just not running against the type of competition that you're seeing in college. It's totally different things. It's a whole different level coming to this. And it's going to take some time, and that's fine. His instincts got to grow, because now it's like, oh, I get the patience. I got to have that. And so, you ain't got no jokers on the defensive line doing basket weaving. Okay. You're not. We're taking, French. These guys right here are literally trying to rip your helmet off. Okay. And put it on their mantle. That's what we're going to do. You imagine these jokers get a hold of a Brashard Smith. I mean, he's got a good size, but these are some big jokers that hit hard and run fast. And so bad breath jokers going to be breathing down his neck, all in his face, barking at him. Don't you bring that suck up in here no more like that. What's wrong with you? Take it on back where you was. This is scary. This is a scary league sometimes, Marcus.
Oh, man.
Just thinking about some of those big dudes, and it reminds me of like 300. You remember they had that big dude on the chain, like he's drooling and that's how it is. They're gonna unleash the chains, and so yeah.
Dritty, I know seeing John Randall. Oof. I was watching the Cowboys Netflix documentary based on the early '90s Cowboys, and they're showing the Super Bowl where they play the Steelers, and they have the dude off the edge, number 95, the Steelers edge rusher. What was his name? The big dude, the Steelers edge rusher, number 95.
I mean, they had Greg Lloyd was one. Greg Lloyd.
I think it was Lloyd. Yeah. I remember seeing him. I remember you talked about how much. I was like, oh shoot.
Listen, hey, and that's what I'm talking about. It's a whole different thing. Greg Lloyd. If y'all never heard me talk about that, that's that story. Greg Lloyd was like a 8th degree black belt or something like that. And I remember I was starting tight end with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I had to leap from one side to the next, and the quarterback's going through the cadence, down, set, and I hear Greg Lloyd just do this breathing technique. I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, golly. And that thing was going to hit me in my jugular. That's what he's going to do. When he got that, I heard that, in the midst of, the whole cadence. I was like, oh, this is going to be a long day, So, yeah.
But yeah, when you talk about it's just a different animal than compared to what these guys played in college, it's like it's that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, maybe nowadays it isn't what it quite was when you were playing in the '90s because it was physical back then, and but yeah, it's a different animal from ACC.
Oh, yeah.
But so obviously, bring back CH is one thing, but Eli Mitchell is getting a lot of flack. Because I don't think a lot of fans thought that he was going to come back to the team. Obviously, he was on your projected 53-man roster. But for maybe people who didn't see the 53-man roster episode, why was it so important that we did bring back Eli Mitchell? And what do you see from Eli Mitchell that is such a big deal, and it's a good thing that we brought him back and he's on the 53-man roster?
I saw his vision. I saw his burst, something Brashard Smith does not have yet. So it was that Justin Blackwell said that, Justin. Elijah Mitchell has it already. We seen him when CMC went down, come in, and he was toting the rock. He did very well. It was the injuries that kind of slowed him down. But he has that experience. And so he understands it. He knows what it takes. And then also, too, he's got a whole different mindset and focus. And I'm not taking anything away from Brashard Smith, man. He's going to be one hell of a running back when it's all said and done. And I want him to keep getting better and better and better. We're going to keep giving him chances. He's going to be out there. He's going to play. Okay? Make no mistake about it. But I think if they're sitting there saying, if something does go down, we can hand the ball back to a proven guy. Okay? That's not really going to dance around. He's going to hit the hole. And I seen that in preseason. I'm like, ooh, he still got some juice. He kept showing up. That's what my eyes saw. I'm looking on film. I'm seeing the same thing. Maybe some holes. And he's running with some of the 2s and 3s that he had to make. He going like, look, I'm not going to dance behind here. I'm going to get up through. If I got me a little glimpse, and that's what he did. He hit the hole, just a little bit of that daylight. And look, he was slicing through. That was impressive. Because he was quiet all preseason, Marcus. We didn't really hear a whole lot about him. We didn't really talk about him as much. I think a lot of people were sitting there counting him out as like, oh, he's going to be one of those guys. And all I kept saying, like, he looks pretty good. Now, maybe he wasn't practicing, worth a darn or whatever, but with preseason, sucker laced his cleats up. He turned it on. He had some juice left. So he still got wiggle to him. All right, man, I'm happy he's here. Trust me. Because even if those guys go down, we need a dude, and Elijah Mitchell's a real dude. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and that's something that while we are Brashard Smith fans, that's something that Brashard Smith, we can't rely on him to be a guy again being a bell cow for us. Eli Mitchell has been a bell cow, yes, in spot duty when CMC was out, but he has been a bell cow. So like if Pacheco or Hunt goes down, we can rely on Elijah Mitchell. Can't really rely on Brashard Smith to be a 10 to 15 carry guy as of right now, So
he'll get there with more. He'll get there, right? Because somebody was talking about Issa Poe, like, how do you get a guy ready and stuff like that? Well, Brashard Smith, we threw him in early with Patrick Mahomes We gave him some reps. Good. He went against the ones. We've seen him thrive against the ones. We've seen that against the ones. So he's very capable against the ones. He was like torching them. So I believe his progression is going to be, pretty quick. And I think so. I do believe that.
Yeah, and I guess for me, as the way I see Rashee Smith right now is more of a couple touches here and there, be it screens, be it some catches, be it maybe a couple carries. But if Pacheco and Hunt were to go down, I just don't see him being a bell cow type of guy. I feel like Mitchell has proven to be that. Mitchell would be that guy, not Rashee Smith. So that's important to have Eli Mitchell in that respect.
Absolutely. So that's why. And it goes into the whole reason, and, Chiefs are thinking and whatnot. Like, to me, it made sense. That's why I had on the 4. That's the guys I had, because it made sense to me. Like, okay, this room looks nice. I like the room. That, you got quality guys, okay? 2 guys you can sit there and say, oh, one's injured and one can't hit his head on the goalpost anymore, and another guy's been injured and stuff like that. All 3 are capable guys. They can get the job done, especially for what we do. And all we need for them to be, Marcus, is who they are. That's it. We're not getting a guy here to tote the rock 30 times or 40 times. It's not what we do. It's not what we do. So.
100% agree.
Yeah, right. I'm going to be a bell cow guy. We don't run that part.
Yeah. All right, so I posted a link in the chat. So hop in and talk about your chief concerns of the of Cutdown Day, because we'd love to hear what everyone has.
Come on in, y'all. Let me see. I want to hear some of y'all. Kyle Harrison, where you at, man? Come on in, Cal. If Cal comes in, bring Cal in. I want to hear him talk. All right, now Peter, any of y'all guys, come on in. All of y'all, Demicios, all y'all brothers and sisters, all y'all come in. Love to talk to y'all.
I know, Mr. Perfect Kyle Hennig is going to come on here. As he said,
Cal. Hey, look, we all having a good time, man. We all having a good time. It's not, contentious whatsoever, man. So we have a conversation. So Marcus is putting the link in. If you see it in the comment section, come on through, man. Come on through. Dip your toe in. The water is fine to talk about this. So any subject you would like to speak about. So Justin Blackwell, where you at, brother? Come on in. So, Rick Hendrickson. Very good.
And I will say, we got, there we go. Kyle Hennig is in. Mr. Perfect, baby. What's going on, Kyle?
What's up, y'all?
Kyle, what's up, brother? How you been, man?
I'm good. First time on y'all's show. Jason usually comes and hangs out with us.
I do, man. And so, hey, man, I'm glad you came and graced your presence here on our show, brother. How y'all doing over that way?
We're good. We did our 53 with we actually had Charles Goldman on Monday to do our 53 and do a little prediction there. And I said at the beginning in the comments that I was going to need you guys to talk me off a ledge with a couple of these decisions, and that didn't happen because we're all on the same ledge at this point with one of the one specifically. When I saw Pennel's name not on the 53, I was like, okay, vested veteran. Doesn't have to clear waivers. They're going to make moves in games with the roster, and then he'll be back before Brazil.
Yeah.
And then we started getting stuff that they're like, well, I don't really know if we're bringing him back. And that makes I cannot wrap my head around it. I can't.
Yeah.
You let Derek Nottie go to the Jets on a veteran minimum baseline bottom of the tier league deal.
Yes.
You kept Mike Pennel. He was so bad with the Jets during preseason and training camp that they traded for 2 other defensive tackles to bring into the Jets before sending him back to us for a 6th round pick that you just got for Sky Moore, who you gave to San Francisco.
Yeah. Yes.
And then you cut the guy who outperformed him each of the last 2 seasons at the same position. The process is usually with moves like this and stuff like this, if I can understand the process or at least some of the thought process, I really don't have much. Brett's earned more than enough leeway and rope with however he wants to do things.
Sure.
But this one makes no functional sense from any direction that you look at it at all. You can't wrap, and then to keep, and nothing against Malik Herring.
Right.
What does he bring you? What does he bring you that Mike Pennel, he can't play the inside tech. You have Charles Omenihu, George Karlaftis, Mike Dana. You have all these guys in front of him at the only position he really can play. And you're not going to use, and even you're not going to put him in over Jerry Tillery on the inside in the pass rush situations.
Nope.
You took Omar Norman-Lott, who's a pass rush specialist in college, stuck 20 extra pounds on him and tried to turn him into a hybrid nose/3 tech. And he's had nothing but ankle injuries. And I can't help but think that sticking 20 plus pounds on a guy who's never weighed that much before didn't have some factor in that, because yes, he got rolled up on once, but the first ankle injury, he didn't get rolled up on. It was stuff from being in practice. So there's just not a lot of process sense for that move that I just can't seem to rationalize out how we got here, especially because like there was never even a discussion as far as whether or not Mike Pennel was on this roster from basic. I've watched nearly everybody who does Chiefs content. It's one of the things that I do. We do our show and then I go watch everybody else's stuff and kind of see where everybody's at.
Yeah.
Not a soul thought Mike Pennel wasn't going to be on this roster. Nobody. And
Nobody.
We look around and like Marcus said earlier, I was fine with bringing Derek Nottie in for depth, but bringing him in as a replacement for the guy that he hasn't been able to outplay in multiple seasons, I can't get my head around it. And they've had to do, obviously the Rashee Rice thing makes them bring 8 wide receivers, so they do different things there. And that's the Tonyan move, which that vested veteran doesn't have to clear waivers, can stand outside for 5 minutes, come back in when they let him. That's fine. Elijah Mitchell is another thing. I wouldn't have kept him. I would have kept 3 running backs because I think you probably could have got him to a practice squad a lot easier than you could have a lot of these other guys. Like Esapole, who I did not think had a prayer of making it back to the practice squad because there are too many offensive line needy teams in the NFL. And he, while as a project, he's a high ceiling project. But the keeping 7 linebackers now. Brandon George went to IR almost immediately, if not even before the cut down day from the report that I saw. But like even still, keeping 6 linebackers, but yet sacrificing Big Mike and running, and then again, no offense to Josh Williams, but they treated Josh Williams like he was going to be the guy that's getting the Mike Pennel treatment, and then they switched the two. Yeah. And I can't quite figure out why or how we got here, because Mike Edwards going to the practice squad as the older guy, as the vet, that's fine. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. They're going to probably move Christian Roland Wallace to safety versus corner, even though he's still listed as a corner on the depth chart because they like to play him in single high occasionally. Fine. But then now you've got an abundance of corners and a guy, and maybe it has to do with Nazi going on the injury list, and that's why Josh Williams is still on the roster. But to do all this and to have the roster games, but to leave Mike Pennel out in the dark essentially, is just a very odd way of going about this roster manipulation. And you mentioned it, like the Chargers are going to run the ball, because I don't know if you guys have looked at their wide receiver core, but Ladd McConkey and who? Trey Harris and half of Keenan Allen's hamstring?
Mm-hmm.
And Quentin Johnson's butterfingers.
Yeah.
Well, Quentin Johnson knocked himself out in the preseason. I don't know if he's even going to be back. He got knocked out.
Oh, did he? Cold. I didn't know it. Yeah. Well, okay. So Cal, I mean, for me, it's we need to understand, man, what you do is you compromise the integrity of what you're trying to do with the linebackers, with the defensive line. And you're right. I don't want to speak disparaging about any guys, but you have to wonder, do you actually need that many defensive ends for a guy's not necessarily going to be that effective, right? Like Malik Herring, okay? And look, God love Malik. No question about it. But I felt like what we were lacking was the inside. It was the defensive tackle. It was the run stopper. That's what we were lacking. And we got rid of arguably one of our best ones. Okay? Seriously. And sometimes Chris Jones will get one side and he'll but Mike Pennel, for a fact, that's his job. That's what he was formidable with, is stopping the run. And so you need Nick Bolton, those guys to run around. Obviously, Abasa to run too. Abasa's a little too small to be out there in the middle without having somebody covering for him. And so we understand that for you to have an incredible defense, your defensive line has to be one of those that is dominating. You have to. And so we seen it in preseason. I'm like, that's an indication. I'm just like, they are running up and down. They are taking shots. See how the Seahawks had 10 running backs, and I think they used everybody and even somebody else they got out of the stands just to try to see, like, we'll see if we can run this guy. And they did. And it for real. And I was just like, this don't look too good. It don't look too good. And we were getting washed. We were just getting used. And we were going straight down the hill. We were just missing guys. So, yeah, Mike Pennel absolutely was not even a fault of a guy that we was going to get rid of. None whatsoever. And all the other stuff you said, in Nandi, like I said, he was hurt, goes to the Jets. I didn't even know, he got brought 2 other guys in, and I'm like, wow. So who would have said that he might have got cut, at the end of it? We go, with the So with that being said, and I really don't want to talk about anybody else in that way, but I'm just going to say what Mike Pennel brings to the table, okay, more than anything else, anybody else. It's just his presence. He is. Somebody said he's a wall. He is. He's a brick wall. He's taking up space. Jerry Tillery wasn't taking up space. That's not what he does well. Okay, we've seen that preseason. Nothing against Jerry Tillery. Jerry Tillery is I think he's a very talented guy. I like his game. I'm glad we got him here. But if you're looking for a guy to keep the guard, the center, and guys off of your linebackers, Mike Pennel is the guy to do it, man. The beast Pennel. He's a beast for a reason. We need that beast in the middle.
Well, and again, it's nothing against, I brought him up, but nothing against Malik, but also if you have a desperation situation at edge, they've shown to be willing to drop Leo down there and do that. And he can do that. So it's not like you were going to be handcuffed into a situation where you weren't going to have somebody that could fill that edge role, even if you were to have something happen to George and Mike and Charles or 2 of the 3 or whatever. And at least not in an emergency situation on that game day where you can't make that adjustment before the next week. And the other part is if you do release Malik, if you do put Malik on waivers, who is claiming him? Is he not going to be pretty much expected to be available to bring back to your practice squad if you want to? Probably. So that's part of and I know it's all juggling and you're gambling a little bit when you do some of the release stuff.
For sure.
But they got to know, and I know they do because they talk to other teams. They're always talking to other teams about what guys are going to make your team probably, what guys may not make your roster. That's why we saw, I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at it, but Mac Derrick, he's got 6 guys they're bringing in for tryouts tomorrow. Now, Clyde's listed as one of them. He's on the practice squad at this point. I don't think there's a question. I think it's even already been announced. But and I know they brought Broderick Martin in, who is the former 3rd from Detroit, to the practice squad, and they've got 2 more defensive tackles listed. But if you're looking for defensive tackle help to bring into your practice squad, why did you get rid of your best true base defensive tackle, not named Chris Jones, for nothing? And he didn't seem to understand or think it was coming, judging by the tweet I think he sent earlier of "Life's funny sometimes," I believe was the quote.
Who said it?
I think Pennel.
It was his Instagram story. His Instagram story.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know if it was a tweet or an IG, but I saw the brief post, and it was it's just I can't. And that was the one I was really. Essa is a bit of a frustration thing because they did this with Ethan Driscoll last year, where they protected a high development guy by making sure he was on the 53, even though he was probably never going to start. And then they turned around this year And I know they got Josh, and that's great. And I know they have Jalen Moore for one additional year after we're to the point where Jawan Taylor's probably not here next year based on contract and knee and all the stuff that goes with it, just because of the contract side of things. It's a business, as you mentioned earlier. So if that's kind of the way that this lays out, why not protect another tackle like you did with Ethan Driscoll, who's got probably a higher upside than Ethan because he's only played 4 years and a total of football ever. He didn't even play in high school. Essa didn't. And yet he's playing at the level he's playing on a third team when you could have, especially with some of the other positions that they had room to maneuver in, to leave him up and coming. So,
well, that's I think making that decision is realistically what do you think Issa would have had a chance to play? And if he had to play, I would have been afraid of that severely.
Sure.
I mean, seriously. So if we're saying, oh, you get rid of like Elijah Mitchell, no. Elijah Mitchell is a guy that can play. Like I trust him getting out there and playing, as opposed to like, well, he's coming out Pole, coming out and play. No, we got to go and search for somebody. We're not going to do that. And so you have to, obviously, you quantifying what you're dealing with and who can possibly play, who's going to be in there. So I'm not going to say waste a position, but actually that's kind of what you're doing. And so good for him. And this is like kind of going into the conversation with Wanye. Wanye's played before. He's got experience. I'm sorry, he does. To me, that gets the nod all day. So I get he graded in BFF, and third string is oh, good for him. Good for him. He's developing. He's going against the guys he probably went in college and whatnot. So, but this is different. Yeah. And you can't put somebody in jeopardy, especially 15 for that, or on any of our running backs. Because if you do that for our running backs, then you got to play Elijah Mitchell. You like, thank God he's on the team. You know what I mean? Because next thing you know, he phoning Pacheco or somebody up because, somebody's missing a block.
And my deal was Wanye is we somewhat seen his ceiling to an extent at this point, and right tackle seems to be about his only really super functional spot. I don't know that he can keep up with the left side. We saw that last year to the point where it finally caused Patrick to go over to the sideline and be like, yeah, we can't do this anymore. This isn't working. And I know he was hurt. I know he had the knee. I know, and he was fighting through the knee from training camp all the way through last year. And I get all of that, but it just seems like he's the fourth tackle, but he's the only tackle other than Jawan Taylor that's going to stay specifically to the right side. And they would play Jalen Moore ahead of him at either tackle spot. So at that point, if you're keeping a fourth tackle, do you go upside or do you go guy who you kind of pretty much know what he is, but only plays the right side? That was the conversation for me when it came to Essa and Wanye.
Got to go with the guy you know. And I think, Wanye, I like Wanye. I see his potential. And in him, I take into context him being hurt. But what I also understood too, and I talked to him in camp, is like this, it's like the light bulb kind of turned on too. It's like, man, I got to do some things different if I want to be that guy. Okay. And sometimes when you come in, you come in with rose glass, you don't quite know what's going on. You're trying to do what you're eating the same way you was eating. You're going to McDonald's doing. I'm not saying that's what he was doing, but I'm just saying some young guys don't quite understand what it takes to stay in the league and to be great. It's almost like, man, I heard Jameis Winston say it. He said, man, I didn't dream big enough. I just wanted to get to the NFL. But I didn't quite understand what it meant to be great, to get, to be here and be a starter, to win the Super Bowl. And I think some guys kind of fall into that category. So I can't go with, a guy that, okay, you got upside, man, but I don't know when you're going to get there. You look good.
Right.
I didn't see a lot of big jokers with upside, a lot of potential. I've seen us taking guys like that in the first round, and it didn't work out. Next thing you know, dude's bagging groceries because he's like, man, he's 6'8". Yeah, but I never got it. I get it. So. Oh, brother, man. It's good conversation, man. Yeah, it's just a head scratcher. I seriously, man. And you need to put some signs and protest. We won't Mike and all. So that
it's just that, like I said, I would normally with the 53s, I don't have big visceral reactions to guys because especially because most of the time it's like the last 4 or 5 spots on the roster. It's guys that are mostly going to be special teams. The main section of the roster is pretty much decided, but this is basically your starting nose tackle.
Yeah.
And I don't, unless there's something we don't know, which is always possible. There's not a lot of logic to this for me. And that's where, and I'm sure, and I don't want to take up the rest of your guys' time, but we'll talk about it on our show, I'm sure, when we do our review of this, because we haven't done it yet. But I just couldn't fathom, and I was hoping that I was going to come on, somebody was going to give me something on here that was like, yeah, it makes more sense. And you guys started, and I was like, nope, okay, we're good, we're all on the same page. I don't get it.
Yeah. And the answer you're going to get from him was like, hey man, we're moving on. This decision we made, and we had some other things in the works and didn't quite work out. So this is where we landed at.
Well, and that's the thing though, with some of the stuff that some of the guys that they hold on to when they should probably do the move on thing to where they hold them almost too long because of where they took them or how they felt about them when they got them or whatever that is. And you can, and I'm not even talking about just this specific 53, but you can go back and pick through some of these rosters over the last 6, 7, 8 years and go, probably a year too late on letting that guy go and maybe churning the roster a little quicker. It's one of the reasons I was really happy that they went ahead and made the move with Cooper McDonald over a guy like, and no offense, Cole Christensen, who that Seattle game was glaring. Like Cole and Jack and a couple of they really, really struggled in that game where they looked like they didn't quite know what was going on or were getting washed out a little bit. Cooper McDonald did not have that problem and didn't have it and hadn't had it in any of the 3 preseason games. And I know he wasn't going against ones, but there's just certain times where it's time to churn that roster over a little more than I think they're willing to. It's probably the only critique that I really have for this GM group or this front office group is, and it's probably more to do with Andy and Spags not wanting to, because we know they're a little bit of creatures of habit, but it's one thing that I wish they would do a little more is let go a little, like a year or maybe on time or a little early than a little late when it comes to some of the development. Because if we've gotten 3 and 4 years in and there's no discernible difference from year 1 to year 4 or year 3, it's tough to continue to do that, especially at positions 47 through 53 on a roster that's aimed at the Super Bowl every year. You've got to generate player development through that portion of your roster. So that's probably my only thing.
Well, for them, okay, I understand if as a coach, if you see increments of improvement and you're thinking a guy's going to get there, right? He's like, man, he's making a step. Maybe he's it's promising, and potential and all you see it. It's like, okay, these guys got something on there. And then next time he tricks you. He's like, dang God. And he all of a sudden again, he hits it again. You're like, wait a minute, hold on. This is, you know what I mean? It's just you don't quite know. And look, that goes on everywhere.
Sure.
And I get it. And a lot of it is, potential. Sometimes guys break out, and that's how it is. Some people are like, well, why you get rid of this guy? And then all of a sudden he goes somewhere else and he explodes. He blossoms to the guy you thought that you drafted. He's like, dang God, that's the dude I was looking at. So it happens, man. But we're going to come on the show, man. We're going to make a collab, man. We can go ahead and get into some of these things, man, this year to do that, my brother, man. But Cal, man, I appreciate you always, man. When y'all going to get started on your stuff as far as y'all getting everything pushed out for something?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, we did the 53 Monday, and we're going to do a review of this probably. It may be Friday before the game, or maybe this Friday. We'll obviously have an episode. I think we're going to be doing our lives again on Fridays, so we'll be live again on Friday, like we had been in the past. we did most of that last year, and then we'll be back to twice a week now that we're back in season. We took our little summer break there for a month or whatever it was and get some stuff organized, because you guys know all the back end stuff that goes into doing this, where you got to get shops up and try to get ideas and stuff formulated and add new stuff, because in the content world you always got to be adding something else, doing something different, trying to differentiate yourself a little bit. And so been doing that and moving through. But yeah, we're getting ready to go. And some of you guys may not know me in the chat. I'm with Kingdom Says. The Kingdom Says. We've had JD on a few times. I tried to get Marcus, but Marcus is a busy human. He sometimes can't make it. So, but we'll get everybody together. We'll do a collab for sure. But it was good to get on with you guys. Like I said, JD's been on with us a few times, but I'd never ventured over this way. So figured I would hop on when you open the floor up.
Glad you came on, man.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate it as always, man. All right. So, man, Kyle, man, take care, my brother, man. Tell the boys over I said what's up, okay, for sure. But we got to make this thing happen, bro.
We'll see you guys soon.
Take it easy, buddy.
Thanks for having me on briefly, boys.
I'll DM you, Kyle. We'll figure something out.
For sure.
All right, buddy.
We'll have you on. Anytime, guys. Have a good night.
You too.
It is interesting the point he made about the general manager thing, and like you said, not every team does it. It's not the Chiefs thing. It reminds me of I don't know if you ever saw the movie 500 Days of Summer. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, pretty much about a girl, kind of like he has a relationship with her, but like she kind of like leads him on in the end of the movie and stuff. And there's a scene in the movie where it's reality. It's a side by side, reality versus expectations. So she invites him after like leading him on, and she invites him, "Hey, I'm going to this party. Would you want to come with?" And the split scene, it's a pretty cool scene. It's the reality of what's actually happening. Like he's alone. She's with another dude at the party. But in his mind, the expectations are, it's like, oh, we're having a great time together, laughing, drinking together, having a good old time. But in the reality, it's like, he's sitting there by himself, not with the girl at all. That's why I feel like sometimes GMs kind of get into that, right? Where they have this expectations of what this guy's going to be. It's like year 2, year 3, year 4. But reality, it's not happening. And you kind of have to move on at some point. And most teams get into that. It's not just a Chiefs thing.
No, they do. This is nothing particular to the Chiefs, man. I mean, every team is like that. And so, some guys have longer leashes, without a doubt. And so we understand that, especially if you get a guy at a high round, you've seen everything that he has displayed. You see how good he is. And somehow it just doesn't click, with the guy first or second year. Like, okay, when did I not get and understand? So whatever systems or fitting into your scheme, or them just, producing and getting to a place where they are comfortable and saying, okay, yeah, I deserve to be, I need to do this. It's always tough. It's always tough. And so, yeah, man, you're going to take the girl to the dance because you like her. She came out looking good, and, hey, that's your gal, right? Everybody might not like her. Like, hey, she ain't like the 10. Hey, man, she's mine, though, okay? She's mine until it comes to the place that they like, where's your girl at? Let's forget her. She tricked me again. So I don't know. We should be great though. We're gonna be good, man, because this is things that kind of happen. You know what I mean?
That's what I was talking about, Jace. The reality versus the expectations. What you thought it was gonna be versus what it is. That's
Hey man, that's true.
That's life, really.
Life is story is old as time. Always have expectations, reality. That's it. The thing is, if y'all both working to try to get to those expectations of known expectations, and it's not saying the guys are not trying to do it, they are, right? This one right there, I think the girl really tried to trick you, right? And that what it was? Is that, I don't know.
Pretty much, yeah. She's pretty much leads them on. They had a solid thing for a little bit, but then, yeah.
Yes, that's the only difference because it's just, somebody's leading somebody on. Here, guys are trying to perform. It ain't like they not trying to do it.
100%. I'm just saying, just like in the GM's mind, they have this whole thing like, oh man, we draft this guy. Ooh man, we're doing some good things together. And then at the end of the day, like over time, it just doesn't pan out for whatever reason. But yeah, I just that's what came to mind when we were talking about that.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate you, Cal, man. It said, G, Taylor Swift has an excellent, I guess he was talking to G. I'm quoting New Heights about exactly. Remember that you're not everyone has earned your energy. Treat it as something sacred. The person that earned your energy don't.
Yeah, it was a good quote by Taylor Swift. So G asked, JD and Marcus, any advice on being successful and not letting the outside noise get to you? We'll love both of your advice in a professional and personal sense. JD, you have a lot to say on this.
I do. So I tell you what, man, to be honest with you, I think you got to get to the place of knowing who you are and then talk about expectations and reality. And nobody's going to have bigger expectations for yourself than you. And so the reality is if you don't get there, you got to be happy for what you give and what you tried and get there. Some guys fail. So all of us fail. And so hopefully that's a learning place that you can get to and say, hey, look, you know what? I got to realize I'm not perfect. I can't look at all these things out here because all I'm going to hear is noise. Noise is going to be negative. And I learned this a long time ago, especially when I was kind of going through my thing. You got to take praise and criticism the same with a grain of salt. So thank them for the praise, thank them for the negativity. Neither one of them should that shouldn't be your motivation just for the praise. You should be glad in the work that you're doing and the process that you're doing it to get to where you want to get to. So that's, I think, really, because everybody has a different measure of success. I put it that way, G. So my success might be different from yours. But if I know I'm giving all my effort into this, if somebody's not okay with that, then I got to be happy with myself knowing that I'm putting all my effort and everything into this. Somebody might not know what you're doing, okay? And you can get 100 praises and one negativity could take you out. And that's why I say take praise and criticism the same, okay? Sometimes it's other people's fault. Their expectations for you, okay, may not necessarily be the same. And I almost kind of combat somewhat like Taylor Swift said, because some people will just throw you away because they don't feel like you're valuable. If you didn't meet their value and their standard, then you are trash to some. You are expendable. But you got to know that you're not expendable. You got to know that. So self-worth is absolutely important to know that. Because like I said, some people will use you for whatever it is they want to use you for. And if they're not using you for that degree, they let you go. They throw you away. Stop calling your phone. Don't want to be your friend. Jeer, sneer at you, all those different things. Make fun of you. But you got to be good in your own skin. You have to be. As long as you're doing the right thing, you should be. And the only thing that matters, and I say this, man, is who made you. You know, God made you. They the one that fashioned you. Everybody else out here didn't make you. They didn't do it. So that's how I look at that, brother. So professional and personal, both.
Yeah, very similar to what you said. So when I worked in a TV, we would have monthly meetings with our news director about the way we were perceived from Facebook comments, Twitter comments. And we actually had a talent manager come in and like talk to you about the way you were perceived online. And one of the things was I was told, because I used to wear kind of not wacky suits, but very colorful. And many people would say very flamboyant and eye drawing suits. And, you know, I'm out in the streets in Lansing, Michigan, where it's snowing every freaking day, but I'm wearing these like bright suits and these colorful ties. And I would get these horrible comments about, very nasty comments. You can pretty much fill in the blanks. And some comments we get on here when we have our show, it's no different really. But I got to, at first I care like, oh man, people are really saying like these things about me and stuff. And also playing ballot. I talk with my hands a lot and you guys can see it. Sometimes they come up, but I would get called like stuff like, oh man, Marcus needs to stop playing ballet with his hands. It's very distracting. I can't watch a news report with him. He talks too fast, too much energy. I don't want to hear it. And if I want to listen to that, I'll turn my dial up and watch the news in fast forward speed. But like at a certain point, it was like, I don't care. I mean, that's that person's problem. Just be you. And I know it's so like cliche to be you. Just be you. And honestly, like once I realized I don't really care what that person says. That's his personal problem. Like go to therapy and get figured out, because like that's on that person. Just once you're comfortable in your own skin and you don't care what other people think about like how you are, and you're not hurting anybody. You're just being who you are. You're gonna live a much freer and carefree life, and that's one thing that it took me about a few months. It was the first job out of college, and like I was getting dominated. Like news director and this talent guy would come and just like say these things like you need to stop doing this, stop doing that, and I started to wear like just basic, boring navy blue suits to work, and it wasn't fun. And I was like, this isn't fun. So about 2 months in, I say, you know what, screw it. I don't care what this talent guy says or my news director says. I'm just gonna wear what I have to wear. And once I kind of broke through that was more like, you know what, I feel good. This is who I am. And and yeah, that's kind of how I try to live. I try to give that same kind of advice to as many people as possible. But just be you. And like once you embrace who you are, that's life. And, you know, people have to deal with who you are. As long as you're not hurting anybody, just be who you are. That's, you know, that's
why that is? You know why that's special, Marcus? Because you're the only you out there. You're the only you. And this is your life.
Exactly.
So you live it. Well done, my friend. Well done, sir. Well done.
Appreciate
now,
you,
seriously, I mean, that's, you know, and we know these brutal businesses to be in, right? Sports, you know, sports and newscasting like you are, and, you know, and playing professional ball. Like I said, a million people see you mess up and drop and stuff like that. And this, bomb this, blah, blah. And everybody is, man, everybody got more intrinsic value than that. And I get it. But, well, we paying you. Okay, I get it. True. God may not be perfect. He ain't like you trying to mess up. So I'm going to root for him. Like you said, we come to this channel, we're going to root for you. That's what we're going to do. We might critique some things, but hey, man, shoot, but we understand the value more than just your occupation. And that's very important. Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's one of those things too. I remember there was a couple of weeks ago, we had a comment on YouTube. It was like, this person was saying the Chiefs channel she listens to, and it was like, I like Cole's channel, KCSN, and someone's like, oh, what about Chief concerns? And like, I love JD, but I can't stand that Marcus guy. And I was like, what did I do to you? But like, at the end of the day, like, you know, there's a reason why people watch shows and they don't watch shows. You might have made that person's cup of tea, whatever. You know, I responded back because I genuinely wanted to know, not because I cared from a sense like a personal thing. It wasn't a gut punch to me. It was more like, I'm just curious, what do I do? But yeah, once you just kind of, you know, you're not gonna be everyone's cup of tea. Once you accept that, it's like, okay, well, that's their problem. So
yeah, like I said, man, thank you, I appreciate it. You can say whatever you're doing. Thank you, I appreciate it. Man, you know, too, we know how hard you work. That's what I love about, like, you know, guys and people know behind the scenes what you're giving in and all those different things. And so, you may not be everybody's cup of tea. That's fine. I'm all right. Okay. You know, I know everybody might not like a big, tall sip of JD, but guess what? I'm going to give it to you anyway. Listen, man, that was a great episode. I know we covered a lot. I appreciate everybody, you know, coming in with your conversations and your chat and your messagings and whatnot, man. Awesome show. We thank you so much. We've had a lot of guys come on here and gals come on here. I think you got like 119 right here and stuff. Hey, hit us a like in here, and if subscribe if you love to. We love to have you. I think it's one thing we live on, man. We do that. Okay. We support one another. So with that being said, man, love you guys and gals, each and every one of you all. Thank you so much for staying up with us. It's 10:35 here, and me and Marcus. So 9:35 for you all. And so Susan got on the other night. She's like, why you tell everybody that I want to keep you? I said, hey, you know, that's so.
Well, tell you, she knows, and I don't know if she's in the chat right now, but the off season with this episode, Susan, the off season is officially over.
yeah. So, babe, no more 2-hour things. No, none of that. Okay, we're gonna get down, and
we just have 4 shows throughout the week, but they won't be as long.
Yeah, it won't be as long. So, man, but look, y'all been awesome. And look, we discussed a lot here. My thing is how the roster, love it, hate it, leave it, however it is. The guys that get out there, man, we're going to support 1,000%. You know, and for some that have moved on or having to move, it just, this is kind of the tough part that we see. And when I was going through all the names of guys, I realized that with these guys, there's a change of their life. Some guys may be their lifelong dream, and they won't get that anymore. And so I'm empathetic to that, understanding, how this thing works. It is a privilege to play in the NFL. And so these are guys that got to go back to their families or friends and whatnot. And none of y'all guys are a failure. Y'all was able to do things that other people were not able to do. Just to get a chance and a shot and opportunity to play on an NFL football team is an incredible accomplishment. So I want to commend you all just for that. I really do. And as Sasha said here and said, I trust the KC decision makers. Absolutely. You got to be able to do that. Going to ride with it. And to our brother, Mike Pennel, brother, man, listen, we love you. We got all support for you, my brother. Maybe this ain't the last of it. Hopefully they looking on their sheet like, what? Oh, hold on. Somebody tripping, right? So, we'll just have to see, man. But, if this, I'm not even going to do that yet. I'm not even going to go there, Marcus. I'm not even going to go shoot. So we'll just have to see, man, what this thing's going to turn into. Hopefully it comes back to something, mistake being made or whatever. So we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see.
And big shout out to I know we've had a lot of guys come on the show this past off season. We had Mike come on, Fabian Lovett came on, Jimmy Holiday came on, Major Williams. Jimmy ended up making the practice squad. So that was, a mini camp tryout guy who ended up making the squad as far as a practice squad. So shout out to Jimmy Holiday, a friend of the show, for making the squad. Yeah,
more than deserved to be there, man. More deserved to be there. So, congratulations to the guys that did make it on practice squad, who still gets an opportunity that are part of this right here. And the guys that were here, didn't make it, man, look, much love and success to you guys. Hopefully get on with another team or another chance and opportunity to continue with your career. Hope that's what it is, man. So if not, and, like you said, we've had a lot of guys that's been friends of the shows, have been on the show before. And we appreciate each and every one of you guys for all the things you've done. So, we'll let this thing kind of ride out a little bit, Marcus, and we'll see what's going down with it all. So,
Yes,
for
sir.
that, yeah. So we ain't gonna say goodbye just yet. We'll just see how this thing's gonna work, man. But with that being said, Marcus, let me say bye to everybody that's here: Justin Blackwell, Richie Hall, Gary Holland, Sasha, Kyle Henney, Richard Hendrickson, Linda Hunter, Jason Tarbox, Don Peterson, Will, G, Andre Chenault, Kyle Harrison, Hannah, Sasha, Linda Hunter, Melly Matrix, Laura Zingzer. Man, y'all hanging with us, man. I love y'all for that. Just hanging with us. 218 strong. Y'all, I'm telling you, y'all are for us. Demetrio Spence, DeMonte Green Beans, my guy. Cliff Johnson, Andrew Brown was in here. Faye Smith. Let me see, Greg Rose. Channel Lock 40 was here. We got some guys. The Raider guy came in, gave us a little love, a little money, didn't he?
Yeah, we also had a Denver guy too come in.
Denver brother. Yeah, we didn't. Hey, yeah, and I answer you, if you see this Denver guy, want to let you know, yes, I think y'all the second best team in our division, for sure. Deshaun Hammonds, my brother, was in here tonight. Mike Brennan was in the house. Who else we got in here? Was Denver Trav is what his name was. Pete V was here. And I tell you what, so what I'm going to do, Melly Matrix, I know it's a lot of names. I appreciate you. About time. What up, about time? Hope your family, all y'all doing well, brother. Appreciate it. Perry Gilmore, Melly Matrix, Optic Mystic James, Pono Kawhi came in. Some of the people snuck in, man. Eric Tyrone Wilson, the barbershop. That's our folks. That's all our folks. Jerron Mitchell, Richard Cooper. Anybody want to give a shout out to, Marcus?
I think you got it, man.
Okay. Marco Sports Card. Let me see who else. Crystal Lee was in here. Witchy Hall. I didn't say Witchy.
Weston Brewster. Did you get Weston Brewster?
No, Weston Brewster. Good to see you. Because when I start moving back up, I can't, Jerron Mitchell, like I said, Life Just Right. Who else we got in here? Channel 40. Okay. My guy, Channel Lot 40. Kenneth Eaton. Will was here. Joe E. Appreciate you, my guy. Thank you so much. Yeah, hit that like button. Chief was in here tonight as well. All the 140, 50 people we had in here that came into this live and seeing us one at Todd Toll Free. Oh, man. All you guys are awesome.
So next week, with it being the start of the new season, pretty much nothing changes next week because the game's on a Friday. So Monday we'll have our normal show. Wednesday we'll have our show, and that's going to encompass what our Friday shows will be in the future. But just this week it'll be one long episode on Wednesday. So we'll have Donnie Edwards coming on to help with us to help preview the Chiefs and Chargers game. Donnie will leave. Then JD will get ready for his week 1 10 keys to victory into the dungeon. He'll take us give us insights into the dungeon. And then Tasia and I will lay off our 5-leg same game parlays, and JD will tell us which one he likes. So that'll be Wednesday night. And then Friday after the game is over, we'll be right back on here for our post-game show. So that's what's next week's going to look like for week 1 of the NFL season.
Good stuff. Tony Black, Shinery, Excel Raider. Let me see. Gary was in here as well. Let me see who else we got. Hannah, Jonathan Steele. Well, listen, if I didn't get to say your name, y'all know what it is. We love you guys immensely to death. Thank you also, too, for the prayers for Chad. Chad is healing up fine. Continue to pray for him, send your energy his way. He's the trooper. He's one of the toughest men I know. I told him that today, man. I said, you're the toughest man I know. So with that being said, man, y'all take care.
Love you, Chad.
Love you, Chad. Love you, Neff. Love you guys. Chief Concerns family, everybody out here too. Y'all take care. All love from us at Chief Concerns. Love each other the way you're supposed to love each other. Continue to be the ones you're supposed to be for others. And let's put this thing together like it should be, man. So welcome to Chiefs Concerns. If you're here new, we love you. Marcus, love you, my brother.
Love you, buddy.
We will see y'all later. See y'all later.
Monday. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Have a good weekend. Love y'all. Later. God bless.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.